A very good evening. You're watching India Global. I'm Gauri Dwivedi. Let's start the show with headlines coming in this evening. First up, Indian student battles for life alone in the US. Hospital says it is yet to hear from the family's visa issue that continues as it waits for an emergency US visa. NDTV Impact is such that the family has finally got a visa interview for tomorrow after 2 weeks of waiting. EU chief Ursula von der Leyen in India amidst trade tensions that EU is facing with the US. FTA, tariffs and strategic partnership along with technology could be the key focus areas. This is the first visit by the EU College of Commissioners outside of Europe. Russian US diplomats are set to hold their talks in Istanbul. Talks are set to focus on Russia and the US. That's the word coming in from the official channels. Russia-Ukraine conflict is unlikely to feature on the agenda. Bangladesh students that led the uprising on 5th of August are set to launch their own political party. Bangladesh student leaders are set to launch their party tomorrow. They say that ideologies of current parties do not represent the people. Instagram may roll out separate app amidst TikTok row. Reports suggest that Instagram may launch Reels as a separate application. The big story that we are focusing on, India Global, is a very tragic story that's unfolding for the family of Nilam Shinde and for herself as well. A 35-year-old woman from Maharashtra's Satara district. She's currently battling for her life in a hospital in California after she suffered critical injuries in a road accident. Ms. Shinde, who's a fourth-year student at California State University, is currently in a coma, and her family has been seeking the center's help to get an emergency visa to the US as doctors need permission from her blood relatives to operate on her. Remember, it's been almost a fortnight that her father has been battling the red tapeism that is now pretty much the hallmark when it comes to trying to get an emergency visa. But the big NDTV Impact, viewers, is that Shinde's father and her brother have now been given an expedited appointment as early as tomorrow, after earlier being given an appointment for 2026. While travel permits for medical emergencies are normally given quickly, it is something that required the intervention of the government. External Affairs Ministry's sources indicate that it was unclear what really was the reason for the delay. It's been almost a fortnight since Nilam met with that really tragic incident, and not only the medical process gets delayed if blood relatives are not there, the other aspect is that the police investigation also doesn't take place the way it should. It's a hit and run case where the police investigation has actually been stalled because there is no blood relative there for procedural issues that need to be done. Hopefully, when the family reaches there, given her medical condition, they are able to make some progress that is delayed right now. Before we move any further, listen in to what Ms. Shinde's brother and father had to say before we get in our reporters to give you the very latest on this.
Tanaji Shinde and Gaurav Kadam, thank you so much for speaking to NDTV again. किस तरह से आप देख रहे हैं गौरव, बता सकते हैं हमें कि कॉल आया आपको, क्या बताया गया है इंटरव्यू के बारे में?
हाँ जी मैम, तो कैसा है, आप सबकी मदद से, चैनल की मदद से और गवर्नमेंट की सब हेल्प से अभी हमें वहाँ से कॉल आया है और हमें कल की ही अपॉइंटमेंट मिल चुकी है, कल सुबह 9 बजे की। कल सुबह 9 बजे की आपको अपॉइंटमेंट मिली है। अभी कहाँ हैं आप और आपको मुंबई पहुँचना होगा? यस, अभी हम हमारे गांव में, सातारा जिला में है, सातारा डिस्ट्रिक्ट उमरज में है हम। हाँ, तो आपको कितना समय लगेगा यानी कि मुंबई जाने में? यहाँ से 5 घंटा लगता है मैम। 5 घंटा लगता है, तो आज ही हम निकल जाएंगे मुंबई के लिए।
आपको किसका फोन
कल
आया था?
सुबह
क्या
हम
मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स से आपको आया है फोन?
आज, हाँ जी, क्या हुआ मतलब हमें सीधा काउंसलेट ऑफिस से ही कॉल आ गया।
आपको लग रहा है, उम्मीद है आपको कि आपको जल्दी वीजा मिल जाएगा?
हो जल्दी। अभी जो वो चीफ मिनिस्टर और सब हमारे पुराने लोग हैं, उसमें जो किया है ठीक, अच्छा किया है। वो वीजा मिलने वीजा मिल जाएगी, बस इतना ही, और उधर जा सके हम।
जी गौरव, अब क्या उम्मीद कर रहे हैं? सरकार से क्या उम्मीद है आपकी? मैं समझ पा रही हूँ बोलने में दिक्कत हो रही होगी, आपके पिता को भी दिक्कत हो रही है बोलने में, और समझ सकते हैं हम आपका पेन, बट क्या उम्मीद है आपको सरकार से? अब क्या करना चाहिए?
अभी उम्मीद वही है कि ये जो अभी, हाँ, ये जो प्रोसेस चल रही है, इंटरव्यू होगा, वो हो जाए सही से, और हमें जल्द से जल्द, जितना जल्द से जल्द हम यहाँ से उड़ान भर सके वहाँ जाने के लिए, वो हो जाए, और ये इसमें हमारे गवर्नमेंट हेल्प करे, यही हम अभी चाहते हैं।
नीलम को जल्दी वापस लाना चाहते हैं आप?
हाँ जी, हाँ जी, और उसको भी मतलब वो भी क्या हो रहा है, 2-3 दिन से उसका भी थोड़ा सा वो प्रूव हो रहा है, वो मतलब ट्रीटमेंट को हेल्प कर रही है, मतलब ट्रीटमेंट को अच्छी तरीके से मतलब कर पा रही है।
हाँ,
उसको हो रहा है, उसको क्या बोलते हैं, ट्रीटमेंट हो रही है सही से,
ट्रीटमेंट
और
ठीक से।
प्रोग्रेस हो रहा है उसका, ऐसा है
जी,
डॉक्टर के मुताबिक।
तो
हाँ जी,
तो
और मुझे स्पेशली थैंक आपका चैनल का भी करना है मैडम,
जी
और चैनल की, आपके चैनल की
नहीं
वजह से भी मतलब बहुत ज्यादा हेल्प हुआ हम वहाँ तक पहुँचने के लिए, सब लोगों की तरफ,
नहीं
मतलब गवर्नमेंट की तरफ हो या
जी,
सब उसके।
बिल्कुल नहीं, आपको वो सब नहीं, कोई आपको ये कहने की ज़रूरत नहीं, पर ये हमारा ड्यूटी बनती है, हमारी फ़र्ज़ बनती है कि हम अगर इस तरह की हमारे देश का कोई बच्चा या कोई युवक या युवती इस तरह की स्थिति में है और बाहर कोई फंसा हुआ है, तो हमारी ये ड्यूटी बनती है कि हम उस खबर को दिखाएं और आपकी मदद करें, और हम चाहते हैं जल्दी से जल्दी नीलम ठीक हो जाए, नीलम वापस भी आए। आप दोनों जाने वाले हैं यानी कि अब इंटरव्यू के लिए?
हाँ जी मैम, हम दोनों ही जाने वाले।
अच्छा, और अंकल भी हैं? क्या अंकल ने भी किस तरह से बातचीत की है, कुछ सहायता की है?
यस 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 यस, की है उन्होंने भी, बहुत ज्यादा सहायता की है सब चीज में।
अच्छा, ठीक है। आपके पिता कुछ कहना चाहेंगे इस बारे में? अब आगे क्या होना चाहिए सरकार की तरफ से? किस तरह से जो है मैटर को अब आगे ले जाना चाहिए?
वीजा पास होना चाहिए और हमको अमेरिका जल्दी जाने का, बस
नीलम को
इतना ही।
आप चाहते हैं नीलम
नीलू,
जल्दी से वापस? आप नीलम के पास वहीं रुकेंगे या जैसे ही नीलम ठीक हो जाएगी उसे वापस लेकर आ जाएंगे?
नहीं, वही थोड़ा दिन वही रुकेंगे,
जी
बाद में हम
वो अभी थोड़े
जी,
इमोशनल
आप
हो गए
इमोशनल हो
थोड़ा
रहे हैं,
सा।
ठीक है, समझ रहे हैं। नीलम जल्दी ठीक हो जाएगी, सबकी उम्मीदें उसके साथ हैं, और हम भी यही प्रे कर रहे हैं कि जल्दी से जल्दी नीलम ठीक हो और नीलम वापस आ जाए। गौरव कदम जी, ताना जी, थैंक यू सो मच हमसे बात करने के लिए, और हम चाहते हैं जी, जिस तरह से अपडेट्स आते रहेंगे हम आपको भी इन्फॉर्म करते रहेंगे, और हमें बिल्कुल उम्मीद है कि सरकार जो है आपके टच में रहेगी।
Okay, so this was a conversation that my colleague Kitty had earlier with the family, and you heard how they were almost speechless in terms of limited options that they have. Let's get in Anuj joining me live on the broadcast, my colleague from Mumbai, to give us a sense of how things look right now. Anuj, you've been speaking to the family, you've also been speaking to the government there, which has also now tried its best to expedite the case. Talk to us about what they're going through, given the matter being so sensitive.
Well, it's a big day for the Shinde family today. Since last 11 days, they've been trying very hard to find some way, to find some ray of hope. As far as this entire visa hurdle is concerned, it almost seemed to the family that they could never find a way out, considering that they were being told by the US consulate that they will have to wait for 2026 as far as their slot is concerned. On a daily basis, there was a parley that was happening between a family member and a representative from the customer care from the US consulate, from where they would only get one template answer, and that is for them to wait, as there would be no exception that was going to be made, even if it was a medical emergency, because all of these exceptions are only made once you apply for or once you appear for your slot. And the slot in this case was only made available in 2026. So they at least had to wait for 2026 for the further progress. But considering the kind of case that the Shinde family found themselves in, they simply couldn't really afford to wait for that long. On the 16th of February itself, they've gotten to know that their daughter is in a very, very critical condition. When the brother, the cousin of that particular individual was talking to NDTV earlier, he explained how this accident took place, because the friends of Neelam had explained all that entire incident to the family. Where a 120 kmph speeding car hit into this woman, and which left her legs and fractured. It also gave very severe injuries to her chest and brain, which made her slip into a coma, which is a very, very serious condition. The medical authorities there got in touch with the family and asked them to be present there in the hospital as soon as possible, as it would be important for them as well, for medical purposes and for emotional purposes of the patient as well. Which is why last 11 days were very difficult. But today afternoon, they finally got the good news from the US consulate after repeated efforts from different sections of the population, of course, from leaders like Supriya Sule, the deputy chief ministers in Maharashtra. The issue was taken up by
In
Dr.
fact, Anuj, I want to ask you something about the family, but stay with me because I want to quickly get in. Quickly, I want to get in Ghazali as well, Mohammad Ghazali, who tracks the MEA for us, to give us a sense of how much did the MEA back this case, and is that how one saw the chain reaction in terms of the movement on visa? Ghazali, talk to us about what your sources have been telling you about this case.
See, Gauri, if you remember, when Dr. Jaishankar was there in the United States last month, he had raised the issue of visa delay by the US Embassy, and a particular statement was made out that perhaps if you take 400 days to issue a visa, then the relations between the two countries must be checked into or must be paid heed to, that why this is happening. And even after today, when NDTV picked up the story of Nilam Shinde's family looking for visa, trying for visa, and perhaps they had gone to the consulate earlier, but they were turned away. External Affairs Ministry spoke to the US Embassy here in Delhi. They also spoke to their counterparts back in Washington as well. And after intervention of External Affairs Ministry, the consulate in Mumbai spoke to the family there in Satara with the family members of Nilam Shinde, and the entire process got expedited, and they have now got an appointment for tomorrow. So certainly the diplomatic intervention from Indian External Affairs Ministry has done some help for the family, bringing some relief that at least the first hurdle of even applying for visa or getting an appointment is resolved. Now tomorrow they will be facing this visa interview, and it is very likely, if we go through the gravity of the situation and the intervention of the Indian government now, it is very likely that they will get the visa to visit their ailing daughter there.
Indeed. Very quickly, Anuj, before we wrap this discussion, which is that you've been speaking to the family ever since this entire ordeal started. What are they saying, that what are they planning to do when they are going to go to the US if the visa does come through tomorrow?
Well, the most important thing that will be up their card is to be present there in the hospital, because there are several friends of Neelam present in California, but the hospital authorities have made it very clear that they can only allow her blood relatives to be present there with Neelam, especially when the entire procedure is going on. We saw her cousin speak about how there has been a considerable amount of progress that has been happening in the last few days, which is a great sign. And in that case, if the family is able to be there in presence of their daughter, that would only improve the situation going forward. So the only thing that they would want to prioritize at the moment is what I picked up from my conversations with the family, is that they would want to spend as much time and devote as much time, to their daughter, to make sure that they are by her side in the hospital, and to make sure that she is taken out of the hospital safe and sound before traveling there, before planning their travel back to India.
Absolutely. Anuj as well as Ghazali, thanks much for breaking this story down. It has many facets to it, but most importantly is the human angle of a girl stuck in the US waiting for more medical treatment and for her family to get that visa. Let's get in Ashok Sajjanar, former ambassador, joining me on the broadcast to really quickly understand what happens in the case of emergency visas. Ambassador Sajjanar, we all know the long queues that one gets when it comes to US visa, but there are special conditions. There are there for every visa granting in any part of the world, most of them at least. But despite that, this family actually got an interview of 2026.
Yeah, no, that is a special problem as far as the United States is concerned. Your correspondent was just telling you that on the 21st of January, that's last month, when Dr. Jaishankar had a meeting with the new US Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, he told him that, this 400-day-long delay that takes place in getting an appointment, that does not serve the bilateral relations well. And we are supposed to have, sorry, a comprehensive global strategic partnership between the two countries. And, the United States, when Joe Biden was the president, he said this is the most consequential partnership for the United States in the 21st century. And Prime Minister Modi, when he had met Joe Biden in Hiroshima in 2022, he told him this is a partnership of trust. So, this 400-long delay is definitely, an aberration. It needs to be looked into and it needs to be resolved. That having been said, even other embassies also, if you want a visa, like, it's the United Kingdom, it'll take about 8, 10, 12 days or so. Normal, that is the normal thing.
Yes.
But if there are special circumstances, Gauri, like the one that we are talking about just now, then of course all these normal procedures are kept to one side.
Absolutely.
And on the human level, it is, taken up. And at the highest level, you would remember, Gauri, that when Mrs. Sushma Swaraj used to be the External Affairs Minister, it was said that if there was an Indian who was in trouble, even on Mars, India would go and get
Absolutely. Yes, indeed.
And that practice has been taken
And the government is really putting its weight behind such cases. But, which brings me to ask you this, Ambassador Sajjanar, that any relationship, one can talk about trade, technology, all of it. But the bedrock of any bilateral relationship is people-to-people ties. And such cases really expose how those need to be worked on more.
No, absolutely. And I think, meaning this, as soon as the matter would have come to, they are in Satara, they are in, a village there. So, I can understand that they would have had difficulty, they would have had problem in finding out where to go, how to reach the higher authorities. But I think once the message got across to the concerned authorities, to the Ministry of External Affairs, to the Foreign Secretary, External Affairs Minister and all, the wheels would have started moving. And, one call from the ministry to the embassy. And of course, they would be very responsive to any request that comes from the ministry, because as it is, these are the very strong links and relations between the ministry and the embassy, like it would be also in Washington, D.C., when, our embassy there is concerned, and the State Department and the government of the United States. So any request coming from them, that is acted upon post haste, very quickly, without any delay. And I think that is what seems to have happened this time also, the call coming in. Of course, there has been this long delay from the 16th of February when they came to know, and they would have made up their mind till today, 26th, 27th.
It would have been a harrowing 10 days for the family.
Absolutely.
And, NDTV has been taking this case up, and we'll follow this through.
Kudos to you, Gauri. Kudos to you and your colleagues for having taken it up at, so very proactively and so very strongly. And I think that has also played its own part, because, you have been able to bring it to the notice and attention of the people of the nation as such. And that, I'm sure, as far as the ministry is concerned, it would have reached them also.
Absolutely. We leave it there. Ambassador Sajjanar, always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
And on that note, we slip into a very quick breather. We come back with more news on the other side. Stay with us.
At AJ Bell, we're all about making investing easy. It's why Which rate no other investment platform higher for ease of use. Open an award-winning account today.
Sadly, animal cruelty has reached an appalling high. It's the worst animal rescue emergency in our recent history, and we urgently need your help. The RSPCA is the only charity in England and Wales dedicated to animals of every kind. Without us, those facing serious abuse and neglect would simply not be saved. Like you, we can't bear to think of them suffering. That's why, despite the high numbers, we must reach them before it's too late. If you can help us carry on this vital work with a monthly gift, please call or text the number on screen now. Anything you can give would help so much. It'll help us answer more calls. It'll help us rescue more animals in danger and help provide them with the urgent medical treatment, food and loving care they need. I promise we will never give up trying to save every animal we can, but we need your help now more than ever. I can assure you, your gift will help save animals' lives every day. Please call 0800 234 6025, text SAVE to 78866, or visit our website to start your monthly donation today. Thank you.
Play the Great Big Lottery and you can help make more wins happen at Great Ormond Street Hospital. Like bringing fun to Rajveer's ward, discovering new treatments and helping children go home sooner. Just call 0800 472 5774 or search Gosh Lottery to start playing for just £1. There's up to £10,000 up for grabs in our annual Super Draw, plus a £1,000 jackpot every week, and many more great cash prizes. So call or go online now for a chance to win big prizes and make more wins happen.
From interesting tech startups to industry-leading companies, politics, sports, culture, curry, cricket. Oh, there's so much to talk about. Like me, if you too thrive on interesting conversations, this is a show you cannot miss. Watch this space to know more about all matters and all people that make Britain what it is today. Out of Britain, with me, Radhika Iyer.
This is India Global. We now turn our attention to Bangladesh, where the students who were part of the 5th of August 2024 student revolution have now come out with their own political party. The latest grouping in heated political jostling ahead of, well, expected elections. The new Democratic Student Council, which includes key organizers from the powerful Students Against Discrimination group that spearheaded the uprising that ousted former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina in August. SAD leaders, including members who were included in the interim government that took over after Sheikh Hasina fled to India, are expected to launch a separate party come tomorrow, saying that the ideologies of the current political landscape doesn't represent the people. First, listen in to what the party spokesperson had to say, the need to form a political party. We come back and talk more on this.
24 জুলাই অভ্যুত্থানের পরে যেই নতুন আশা আকাঙ্ক্ষার জন্ম নিয়েছে বাংলাদেশে, সেই আশা আকাঙ্ক্ষার পরিপ্রেক্ষিতে একটি নতুন রাজনৈতিক দল গঠন করার একটি উদ্যোগ গ্রহণ করেছে ছাত্ররা। এই রাজনৈতিক দলের সাথে বিদ্যমান যে রাজনৈতিক দলগুলো আছে তাদের যে পার্থক্য, সেই পার্থক্য যদি আমরা বুঝতে চেষ্টা করি তাহলে আমরা দেখব যে অভ্যুত্থানের সময়কার সকল রাজনৈতিক মত পার্থক্য ডিমিনিশ হয়ে গিয়েছিল এবং এই মতপার্থক্যহীন যে আমাদের ইউনিফিকেশন ঘটেছিল পুরো জাতিগতভাবে, এই ইউনিফিকেশন থেকে ছাত্ররা একটি রিয়েলাইজেশনে পৌঁছেছে এবং জনতার পক্ষ থেকে আমরাও একটি রিয়েলাইজেশনে পৌঁছেছি যে এখানে ভাবাদর্শিক এবং মতাদর্শিক যত ধরনের আইডিওলজি আছে, এই আইডিওলজি ভিত্তিক কোনো পলিটিক্যাল পার্টি দেশের সমস্ত জনগণকে একত্র করতে পারে না। আমরা মনে করি যে এখানে বাংলাদেশের মানুষের কিছু নির্দিষ্ট পরিমাণ রাইটস ব্যাপার আছে এবং এই রাইটসের ভিত্তিতে আমাদের সামনের দিনের রাজনীতি পরিলক্ষিত হবে।
Okay, Saurabh Gupta joins me live from Kolkata to give us a sense of why this political outfit had to be formed. Well, Saurabh, we have no idea when those elections will take place, But what we do know now is there's going to be another political outfit that wants a slice of political power as and when it shifts.
Absolutely, and this, of course, is a political party that's largely being fronted by the students' movement. That, of course, was responsible for the overthrowing of the Awami League government led by former Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina. And even at that time, many had also raised questions over who were backing these students, whether it was a students' movement that initially started a protest against quota, but soon it became a full-fledged protest of overthrowing the Sheikh Hasina government. And many have also alluded to the assertion that perhaps that there is a backing by the Jamaat-e-Islami as well, which is a hardline Islamist group in Bangladesh. And again, there is, already the existence of the BNP, the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, which was the main opposition party to Sheikh Hasina's Awami League. And again, so with the absence of the Awami League now, with its forces depleted, with its workers coming under attack, there was a vacuum in Bangladesh politics. And that is something that perhaps the student movement or the students, leaders are trying to fill. But that concern that was there of who is backing it and whether, that it is some other political force that's backing it, that concern is still very much there, according to political observers.
Indeed, Saurabh, what one can say is that the political landscape in Bangladesh is getting more uncertain, more fluid as we go along. Thanks much for speaking to me and taking out the time to join me on the show today. On that note, a quick break. On the other side, we talk more about the EU-India relationship. Remember, it is the EU that is here with the president along with the 21-member delegation for the first time outside Europe. What can we expect? We come back and decode that for you. Path-breaking innovation and a lot that technology can achieve. But I feel this is one question that I must ask simply because it impacts so many people's lives, which is the role AI is playing in our lives in terms of some sort of a disinformation, that's also happening, and a large part of company and government's resources goes in addressing some of this. As I said, it may look much lower in the tech ladder in terms of, what you're doing, but it impacts people's lives. So how can Google sort of address the flip side to AI, which is some of the disinformation that we see? I mean, it may be an inevitable outcome of what you are doing, but is there a way of reducing its potential pitfalls?
So yeah, absolutely. In fact, we think that this is a very important sort of topic that deserves a lot of thought and care. With generative AI especially, it has the ability to sort of generate text, images, audio and video. That ability is very powerful and very useful in many contexts, but it also comes with the risks, right? If the same power is used for malicious purposes. So to make sure that users, when they are consuming this information, they understand whether this content is naturally generated or is synthetically generated, we came up with this technology called SynthID, which is a sort of watermarking scheme which embeds information in the content itself. And we were one of the pioneers in basically doing this. Google was a complete pioneer in sort of doing this, and not only have we integrated this in our models, but in some cases we have also open sourced it so that other sort of companies and other players in the ecosystem can also sort of employ this and adopt this practice for their own products.
AI scientists, and some would even call him a rock star in the AI space.
We definitely need AI for is to unlock some of the mysteries of nature.
As someone who is an AI scientist, what is your goal?
Our civilization is facing a number of sort of challenges, and I think this is where AI comes into the picture.
Will this replace most jobs?
The new generation of AI models is that they have cognitive ability.
From interesting tech startups to industry-leading companies, politics, sports, culture, curry, cricket. Oh, there's so much to talk about. Like me, if you too thrive on interesting conversations, this is a show you cannot miss. Watch this space to know more about all matters and all people that make Britain what it is today. Out of Britain, with me, Radhika Iyer.
Welcome back. You're watching India Global. We now turn our attention to probably one of the biggest stories that are happening right now, which is that you have the entire European Commission led by the President Ursula von der Leyen in India in a 21-member delegation. Those viewers are live visuals of her meeting External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar. She is in India along with her entire commission to try and thrash out a trade deal between India and the EU. The College of Commissioners haven't traveled outside of Europe. This is a first. It comes at a time, on a day, frankly, when the US has imposed 25% tariffs on the EU. It also comes at a time when many within the EU are saying that the European Union needs to focus more on growth rather than regulation. So what will be the contours of a possible trade deal between India and EU is something that we'll keep a close watch on. Along with that, will there be greater alignment in terms of areas related to defense, areas related to broader policy towards the Indo-Pacific? Will there be greater alignment on areas related to technology? All that is something that we will keep a very close watch for you. Let's quickly now get in my colleague Babat Ghazali, who's joining me live and keeping a close watch on this meeting. Talk to us, Ghazali, about what is likely to happen in this meeting.
Entire meeting and the delegation which has come with the EU Commissioner President, this could not have come at a better time with the changing geopolitical situation, with US President threatening tariffs to every other country. It's changing its stance on the Ukraine-Russia war. EU perhaps feels it's more in isolation, and that is why it is looking for more reliable partner. Now, why India? The EU Commissioner President also tweeted about after landing in Delhi that India is a very trusted partner, a reliable partner in the Indo-Pacific region. And it is also becoming very significant due to the fact that on one side, you are getting these tariff threats from the new Trump administration. China is also expanding its economic space as well, and that is why European Union sees India, which is going to be the third largest economy by 2030, as a big market. And India, what we see that for EU, India serves both as an important export market and a crucial sources of goods. European industries, particularly in automobiles, wines and spirits, see India as an essential destination amid increasing global protectionism. So besides the trade ties which we are talking about, because EU has always been the largest trading partner for India, and also with amid all this tariff threat, they really want some reliable partner like India, which is also going to be a bigger economy. And India, being one of the bigger markets, gives that space to EU to come and invest here. One important point which the External Affairs Ministry as well as Indian government is looking for this incoming delegation is the Make in India campaign. India is looking for these European companies to come and invest here, and there will be trade council meeting between India and EU Commission of Trade, where they will talk about clean energy, space technology, defense sector, and there will be different and new avenues which will be explored by both parties to get into an agreement for trade. As far as investment is concerned, it was spoken to a senior EU official also whether there will be any announcement of investment. So they told that this entire delegation actually designs a framework for investment, but they will not announce any investment immediately. But after meeting different ministries, perhaps later EU can announce some investment proposal as well.
Absolutely. In fact, Ghazali, you also spoke a short while back with the representatives of Belgium. Let's play that conversation out.
So I'm joined here by the ambassador of Belgium, and we are going to talk about the big Belgian economic mission which is visiting India. Thanks for speaking to NDTV, sir. In the press briefing, you just spoke about a gamut of issues which will be discussed when this commission comes. What will be the key focus areas besides the Belgium chocolate, and we see the trade, it's expanding over the years, but what would be the main focus since the princess is also leading this delegation?
So indeed, as you mentioned, we have a classical Belgian-Indian cooperation in the chemical sector, in logistics, in port cooperation, etc. This mission is bringing all these companies, of course. We have 330 delegates, but we are really also focusing on strategic sectors, the sectors of the future: renewable energy, life sciences, space, defense, eco-construction. So that will be really the focus, and we're bringing top-notch companies that are already present here, but also companies that are coming for the first time to India. And as you know, of course, export and investment are really, really very much linked. So export can drive investment on the mid and long term.
Okay, coming to the defense sector, what would be the key focus areas when it comes to investment? As you rightly pointed out that Prime Minister has spoken about Make in India campaign. Can we see some more investment from the Belgian companies in the defense sector coming over here in India?
You will see that in the mid and in the long term, we have a number of companies that are really involved, heavily involved in big projects, defense projects here. There will be a number of signings. It is at the signing ceremony because many of these companies are on the stock exchange, so I cannot really go into detail. But at the signing ceremony, we can tell more. But you will see some progress in this area for sure.
All right. So that, of course, was reflecting part of the sentiment that EU is having when it comes to why it wants to collaborate more with India. And in fact, that's one of the questions that I'm putting forth today as part of the big questions that we put out on India Global. First up, amid the US-EU tensions, which way will India tilt? Remember, there is now everything now exists in a larger trade environment that India and the world is existing in, and we cannot ignore that. That's the first key question that we are putting forth. The second question, viewers, is that will India actually lower tariffs on wine, on cars, on several other specific areas and goods that have been pointed out by the EU? That remains to be seen, because these are trade negotiations. It's not just about, you come here, you get a sweet deal. What is in it for India for it to lower tariffs? And the third thing, which is what we're asking, is that what are really the challenges? This is now an ongoing process which has gone on for a fairly long period of time. It was in cold storage for about a decade, has been revived the last 2 years. What really are the challenges that lie ahead? Which brings the last question that we can put out on the screen is that also beyond trade, what else is the key areas that Delhi-Brussels relationship can focus on? Will it be defense? Will it be common meeting of minds when it comes to how they view China? Indo-Pacific, technology, what are those other areas in terms of a broader relationship between India and the EU? And let's put some of those questions out to, in fact, Mr. Wagner, who's a research fellow, School of Oriental and African Studies, or SOAS, in London. Joining me on the broadcast is also Pinakaranjan Chakravarti, former secretary at the MEA. All right, in fact, let me start with you, Mr. Wagner. What, according to you, could be the focus areas when it comes to these discussions and these important trade talks between India and the EU?
May I take up with your last question the larger gamut of issues between New Delhi and Brussels and the geostrategic aspects? Trade talks, of course, are behind doors, and the nitty-gritty will be hammered out as we can eventually see. Suffice to note that talks commenced between India and the EU for an FTA agreement in 2007. It was in abeyance and has been kick-started since 2022. Concomitantly, of course, your viewers must also realize that India has been in FTA talks with Oman, the GCC, which is a very salient partner, and more on that in a moment with the EU factor I will tie in, as well as with Canada, which of course has been in abeyance for a variety of political reasons, and also with Australia, on which there has been a partial trade treaty signed between New Delhi and Canberra. Now, coming to the geostrategic aspects, what would New Delhi seek from the EU? Ever since this Indo-EU cooperation agreement was commenced and Indo-EU relations crystallized in 1994 as a point of historic background to your viewers. And 12 India-EU summits have taken place to date. Firstly, I would envisage the following. India will press the EU for reform at the UN Security Council and a permanent seat. Secondly, also both share the anti-terrorism agenda and for seeing what would materialize at the UN, namely a comprehensive convention on terrorism, hybrid warfare, and strategic threats that they both face. And speaking of threats, of course, as far as the EU and European theater is concerned, it is Putin's Russia,
Right.
on which, of course, India does not necessarily see. But, of course, this has to be pointed out that the Europeans do realize India, due to its own so-called strategic considerations,
Yes.
has a robust trade relation with Russia, and it has not necessarily affected EU policies and investments so far in India. And finally, you must note that India and the European Union both are IMEC founding partners, which was conceived in September
Indeed.
2023, the Indo-Middle East European corridor, which
Yes.
runs from Nhava Sheva, Vashi, New Bombay to Marseille via Haifa and Rome, along other corridors
Indeed.
to Abu Dhabi and Dammam. So India is keen on that aspect, Gauri, for the simple reason
Absolutely. Hold
that
your
this
thought there, sir. Hold your
north-south
thought there. I'm
corridor-
going to come back. I know that's an important aspect, and I'm going to deal with IMEC in just a bit. But let me quickly now get in also Mr. Chakravarti on this, which is the nitty-gritties. We spoke about the big picture in terms of the India-EU relationship, but Mr. Chakravarti, it also comes down to the trade relationship, doesn't it? Because it comes at a time when there's so much of uncertainty around the world, given how America is now revisiting all trade relationships.
Well, we must understand why this geopolitical moment has occurred. And that is because, obviously, because what Trump is trying to do, which is like unraveling the WTO, the World Trade Organization, which had set the rules and the agenda for international trade for several decades now. And this factor of unraveling the WTO began actually earlier than Trump, because the American administration before him, even during the other three presidents, Democratic presidents, were putting roadblocks in various issues in WTO, like the dispute settlement mechanism, for example, where countries take their disputes and then accept the verdict of that mechanism, the settlement mechanism. So we have been watching this, and Trump has of course come and speeded up the process in the sense that he's added various other things like reciprocal tariffs and things. So this is the reason why the other major trading partners, EU and India particularly, EU is India's largest trading partner, are now naturally reaching out to each other. And there is some urgency in trying to find other arrangements that can help them continue their trading relationship and increase investment and other aspects, not just trade and economy.
Exactly.
But defense, technology, movement of skilled people and all that. So this is why it is happening now. It has received a boost because of what Trump is doing.
Absolutely. Mr. Chakravarti, then let me ask you this as a follow-up before I get into the other speaker as well. In terms of, you pointed out that it's not just about trade talks, it's also about big ticket investments that India wants to attract, the EU also wants to attract. Where do you see the alignment on these areas actually being, the focus areas, the focus sectors that could be?
Look, Europe and India have had a long years of engagement in terms of trade and industry. Now, let's take the Make in India, the plan of the Indian government. Now, it is not make everything in India. It is basically make things in India with inputs, supply chains that cover Europe as well, or any other country. So I think those are some of the areas where the European companies can come in. And if Trump has threatened to put 25% tariff, increase 25% tariff on European products. Now that will really, hurt the Europeans. And the Europeans, when they put 25% reciprocal tariff, which they have threatened to do, will again, basically drive their trade into a decline. So where will they go? India is the largest market, the largest country, the fastest growing economy. And then there is the strategic aspect of it, which is the Indo-Pacific. Now the Europeans are also worried about China, how China is cornering all the trade. China has 35% manufacturing capacity in the world today. and
Exactly.
how to deal with China. We are also grappling with the same problem, and how to increase trade with China, because China is a controlled economy, and it's an authoritarian state which puts in lots of barriers on trade with other countries. So I think these are some of the issues that they can discuss.
Yes.
And defense also is an area where we have had long-standing relations with France, with Germany, UK, Italy, with some of the larger countries. Even
Absolutely.
other smaller countries like Austria, there are in terms of military hardware. And there again, they can collaborate, because India wants to produce many of these items here, or at least partially produce, and source, various
and address
parts.
some of its domestic needs and aspirations when it comes to defense manufacturing. Mr. Akbar, then let me come back to the other issue, which was about IMEC, an issue and a project that the Prime Minister also referred to the last time he was in France earlier this month. He raised it with President Macron as well. How do you see that project now developing going forward, given that it impacts not just Indian interests, but also, of course, boosts European interests?
Well, the IMEC, as I pointed out, conceived in September 2023, of which India, US, and the European Union are founding partners, besides, of course, the UAE and Saudi Arabia. And also, individually speaking, France, Italy, and Germany. And as you've correctly put on the map, it starts from New Bombay, Vashi, to Jebel Ali, but also to Khalifa Port in next door Abu Dhabi, besides Dubai, all the way to Haifa in Israel, Piraeus in Greece. Rome has also to be shown on the map, which has not been done, and finally Marseille. Now, that holds immense promise and import, because it is a counter-narrative to the Belt and Road investment, which has been put out in recent years. And also, when the IMEC was announced, President Erdogan of Turkey expressed his displeasure too, and has now talked about the so-called Iraq-Baghdad road, the so-called Baghdad-Istanbul link, which goes back to the early 20th century with the Ottomans. But let's leave that aside for a moment. The point is, this will be of considerable signification to India for two reasons. Firstly, I must point out quite bluntly that the INSTC, the so-called North-South Corridor, which was conceived in 2000 to run between, again, New Bombay, Vashi, and St. Petersburg via Bandar Abbas, Baku, and Astrakhan, all the way up to the Baltic Sea, reaching Russia, is quite frankly not going anywhere. It is a corridor to nowhere, on which I have even published. Because for the fact that Iran is not just going to feel the heat of Trump's sanctions, it already is, but because the rail lines and channels and arteries in question have not been laid by Armenia in the last 20 years. Kazakhstan is also facing a threat from Russia, because Russia is eyeing up white Russian nationalist lands in northern Kazakhstan. Armenia and Azerbaijan are locked in a conflict, which they were even at the time of the SCO summit in September 22, when Modi was in Samarkand.
Right.
Tajikistan had a problem with Kyrgyzstan. And this is not going anywhere as such. The only saving grace India could do, and which has done recently, because it was again in the pipeline, is the Madras-Vladivostok corridor, which has seen some trade recently. Because India
I'm
wants
afraid
the
I'll have
North
to
Sea
leave it
trade
there.
to be
This
up.
is not just about IMEC, but it's about one of the areas where the India and the EU come together. But fascinating conversation. We're going to continue this maybe at another time. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for speaking to me on India Global. On that note, a quick break. More news on the other side. Do stay with us.
Sitting quietly while your car is made all shiny. Downtime can be just fine too. Ready meal is piping hot, waterproof on the loo. Just enjoy your back tattoo. Tea break, face break, maybe even watch the ad break. Sometimes it's not time for some tombola, right? It's enjoying lasagna time, chilling with a book time, or time to visit your nan time. Put the phone down.
Years ago, we used to just fall asleep with a face full of makeup. Number 7 Future Renew Damage Reversal Serum with a world-first peptide technology, exclusive to Number 7. Clinically proven to reverse visible signs of skin damage. Save £10 on Number 7 Future Renew, available at Boots.
Sign up and start saving with Quidco today. Get cashback every time you shop on over 5,000 brands. It always pays to Quidco.
Play the Great Big Lottery and you can help make more wins happen at Great Ormond Street Hospital. Like bringing fun to Rajveer's ward, discovering new treatments and helping children go home sooner. Just call 0800 472 5774 or search Gosh Lottery to start playing for just £1. There's up to £10,000 up for grabs in our annual Super Draw, plus a £1,000 jackpot every week, and many more great cash prizes. So call or go online now for a chance to win big prizes and make more wins happen.
I like making sure I've got all the right tools for the job. And now that I'm 50, that means looking after the life I've built, protecting my lot if anything happened to me. That's why I decided to learn more about over 50s life insurance from Cover Today. They're the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period, unlike other insurers who could make you wait up to 2 years for full cover. With Cover Today, you're fully covered from day one. And you're covered for the whole of your life. Plus, unlike other things in life, the price never goes up. Learning more couldn't be simpler. Go online or talk to their friendly UK team in just one phone call.
Cover Today are the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period and no annoying trips to the doctors either. Plus, you get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Cover Today has given me genuine peace of mind. And now that's done, I can get on with something much more interesting.
To find out more about Cover Today, call our friendly UK team on 0808 143 4733 or visit covertoday.co.uk.
Welcome back. This is India Global. It's now time to address some of the other important stories coming in. First up, India has slammed Pakistan after it raised the issue of Jammu and Kashmir in the United Nations Human Rights Council, saying that the failed state that survives on international handouts dutifully spreads falsehoods handed down by its military terrorist complex. Delivering India's powerful response, Counselor at India's permanent mission to the UN in Geneva, Kshitij Tyagi, asserted that the Union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh were, are and will always remain an integral and inalienable part of India. Listen in.
As a country where human rights abuses, persecution of minorities and systematic erosion of democratic values constitute state policies and which brazenly harbors UN-sanctioned terrorists, Pakistan is in no position to lecture anyone. Instead of its unhealthy obsession with India, Pakistan should focus on providing actual governance and justice to its own people. Mr. President, it is unfortunate that this Council's time continues to be wasted by a failed state, which thrives on instability and survives on international handouts.
Russian and American diplomats have met in Turkey to address ongoing disputes over their embassies in Washington and Moscow. The meeting, which is being held in Istanbul, is being seen as a key step towards restoring diplomatic ties between the two countries. In fact, it's a step towards normalization, though neither side has disclosed any list of participants. Russia's state news agency TASS reports that representatives from the Russian Foreign Ministry were in attendance. The meet comes after a phone call between President Putin and President Trump on the 12th of February, followed by a high-level diplomatic meeting in Saudi Arabia 6 days later. The goal of these discussions, it seems, is to normalize relationships at the diplomatic level, which have been disrupted by tit-for-tat expulsions of diplomats during the previous administration. Reports suggest North Korea has sent additional soldiers to Russia and redeployed some of its troops to the front lines in the Kursk region. South Korean and Western intelligence agencies previously reported that more than 1,000, or rather 10,000, I beg your pardon, North Korean soldiers were deployed to Russia last year to support its fight against a surprise Ukrainian offensive near the border. Neither Moscow nor Pyongyang have confirmed the presence of North Korean forces in Russia, but the two countries signed an agreement which included a mutual defense clause during President Putin's visit to North Korea last year. Taiwan's defense ministry has reported a major spike in Chinese military activity near the island, detecting 45 aircraft and 14 warships within 24 hours, the highest number recorded this year. The escalation follows accusations from Taipei that Beijing conducted live-fire drills without prior notice off Taiwan's southern coast. Officials in Taiwan have strongly condemned the exercises, calling them dangerous and a violation of international norms. China, which claims Taiwan as its territory, has significantly increased its deployment of around the island in recent years in a bid to assert its sovereignty. Taiwan rejects all of Beijing's claims.
China Coast Guard 14608. China Coast Guard 14608. You have entered our sea Taiwan restricted waters without permission. Your actions have destabilized maritime order and security of our sea Taiwan. Adjust your course and leave our restricted waters immediately, or we will take the necessary action under the Act of our sea Taiwan.
And lastly, with TikTok facing uncertainty in the US, Instagram appears to be gearing up to seize the opportunity. The popular video app TikTok is at risk of being banned if it fails to meet American government's guidelines and demands. And now its biggest competitor is looking to capitalize on the huge opportunity. As per reports, Instagram is exploring the launch of a standalone app that is dedicated to Reels, its short-form video feature. The idea was reportedly discussed by Instagram chief Adam Mossad in a meeting with its staff this week. If launched, the app would offer users a scrolling video experience that's pretty much like TikTok, potentially filling the gap if the ban on TikTok goes into effect. All right, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of India Global. Thanks so much for watching.
With retirement round the corner, I want to spend more time with my family and less time worrying about the numbers. Which reminds me.
Welcome to British Seniors, the UK's #1 rated provider of over 50s life insurance.
Hi, I'd like a quick quote.
No problem. We're proud to offer our seniors lifetime guarantee. With 100% of claims having been paid, we guarantee your premiums will never go up and that you'll speak to one of our specialists in the UK. UK residents aged 50 to 80 are guaranteed to be accepted. Depending on your age, your loved ones can get a cash payout up to £10,000.
And that money could help with funeral costs or even as a gift for the grandkids. I'll do it.
Plus, when you sign up, you'll receive a £135 gift card and free 24/7 GP advice and health services.
You got them all right. That's amazing.
Be proud to protect your loved ones with British Seniors. To get a free quote today, call our UK team on 0800 977 5808 or visit britishseniors.co.uk.
You know, the toughest part of the whole grief, I'll never forget, is when Nan turned to me one time. And she goes, "John, I don't know what's happening to me."
Those weeks that he came in, with the 3 weeks that I could be his little girl again, nothing I can do will repay Marie Curie for doing that for. The amazing gift that they gave me was I was there at his last breath. He was there for my first.
In the calls, they just listen. She just said, "John, just speak."
Although people don't like to talk about it, but we're getting older, it has to be done.
You start to think about, well, what would I do? Where would I want to leave things? I will give everything back that I can to the hospice that gave me so much, not only in my name, but in Dad's name.
Who do I give my assets to?
I didn't realise you had a choice.
Give better end-of-life care to all. Get your free will guide today.
I'll fix him, love. Poor pet. Just shows you never know what's going to happen. Which reminds me, I need to protect the life we've built. That's why I'm looking into smart family life insurance.
Hi, I'd like a quick quote, please.
OK. You can choose a benefit amount up to £750,000, depending on your age.
If you're a UK resident aged 18 to 64, you can apply with just a few health and lifestyle questions. For £250,000 of cover, the price starts at just £14.77 a month.
That's less than I thought. And it could help my husband with the mortgage.
Just like families, not all life insurance is the same.
That's why we offer the Smart Family Guarantee. That's good to know. You'll also receive a 100% advance in the event of terminal illness and 10% cash back on your first year's premiums. That's the Smart Cashback. Plus, you'll also get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Protect the life you've built the smart way. To get a free quote today, call our specialist UK team on 0800 977 5753 or visit smartinsurance.co.uk.
Amit Shah's comments yesterday. But first, let's take you through the headlines we're tracking this hour. An NDTV Impact as the US Embassy grants a visa interview to the family of Indian student Nilam, who is in coma in the US. Family thanks NDTV for the support and highlight of their plight. Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnav hits back on the language row, puts Rahul Gandhi on a spot and asks for a response to the DMK's insinuation. Stalin keeps up the offensive. European Union chief Ursula von der Leyen on her first visit to India, likely to focus on trade, tariff and tech during the visit. First up, a quick update on that language row. Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnav has hit back as DMK chief MK Stalin and has also put Rahul Gandhi on a spot, asking him to take a stand on the issue. In a post, he said that it will be interesting to know what leader of opposition at Rahul Gandhi has to say on this controversy as an MP from a Hindi-speaking state. This is Ashwini Vaishnav's response to the DMK offensive against the centre on the NEP's three-language formula and accusations of imposition of Hindi. MK Stalin had even written a letter today stating his position and his party's position on the issue and questioning whether Hindi imposition, and because of the spread of Hindi, several other languages, even those in North India, have taken a backseat and have died out. The DMK on an offensive in Tamil Nadu, and Ashwini Vaishnav, Union Minister, hitting out at the DMK, saying that these protests are a garb for hiding over and tiding over governance issues. But the most important aspect, of course, asking the Congress and Rahul Gandhi to take a stand on that issue. That's our news update coming in at the moment. Let's moving on now to the special focus this evening on the continuing reactions to Home Minister Amit Shah's assurance in Tamil Nadu yesterday that southern states will not lose out in the delimitation process. After sharp reactions from the DMK left and Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy, today Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah in a statement said that Home Minister Shah's comments, quote-unquote, misleading and a deliberate attempt to undermine southern states. He put out a set of numbers showing how the absolute number of seats in the Lok Sabha would reduce for the southern states. The question, though, is what are the facts in the delimitation debate, and is the debate itself premature without concrete clarity on when it will be carried out? It's a process that is constitutionally more complicated than just a mere political exchange of statements, and one that has had a long history. For one, as per the Constitution, it can happen only after a census after 2026. We have a charged political panel from both sides of the divide lined up this evening. But first, let's listen in to the political reactions that came in today.
Tamil Nadu के मुख्यमंत्री और उनके सुपुत्र दोनों तमिलनाडु जनता का ध्यान भटकाने के लिए कुछ मुद्दे खड़े कर रहे हैं। मोदी जी ने निश्चित रूप से आपके सभी हितों की रक्षा कर डिलिमिटेशन में आपका एक भी सीट प्रोरेटा कम न हो और जो बढ़ोतरी होगी इसमें उचित हिस्सा दक्षिण भारत के राज्यों को भी मिलेगा।
I will not, because already the Prime Minister Mr. Modi, when he opened the new parliament, he said it's going to increase. It was like 2 years back. And in 2023, I think Mr. Amit Shah, he also spoke that it will definitely affect the South Indian states. But now they are, since our leader, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister, has raised up the issue, they are changing the stand. We want them to confirm it. Tamil Nadu represents around in 543 seats, we represent around 39. Which is around 7.2%. Our only request here, a demand here is, if they are going to raise the numbers in the north states of India, Tamil Nadu will also request, we also demand an increase in the numbers.
मेरा फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन है, पॉपुलेशन सेंसस कहाँ है? क्यों मोदी सरकार पॉपुलेशन सेंसस नहीं करता है? ये मिस्टर अमित शाह जवाब देना पड़ेगा. क्या पर्पस है डिलिमिटेशन अभी एट दिस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम? क्या पर्पस है? अमित शाह बोल रहा है नहीं साउथ नंबर नहीं कम होगा. हाउ ही नोस? देन व्हाई यू कंडक्ट पॉपुलर दिस डिलिमिटेशन? देयर इज जेन्युइन fear in the minds of Tamil Nadu and several other states.
As I mentioned, a strong political panel lined up this evening, starting with Surbhi Hodigere of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Syed Hafizullah of the DMK. We'll also have Bhavya Narasimhamurthy of the Congress and Jyotsna Tirunageri of the TDP join us in a bit. And the cephalogist, political analyst amongst the politicians on the panel today, Dr. Sandeep Shastri. Thank you all for joining us. My first question to you, Surbhi Hodigere. The DMK, Congress and the left, led by Chief Ministers of Tamil Nadu, Telangana and Karnataka, have raised serious questions over the Home Minister's assurance. The argument they are putting forth is that with the facts as they are at the moment, there is no basis to say that southern states will not lose out. Respond.
Thank you for the question, Viragav. I think that it's an incredibly important discussion we are having today, and I'm grateful to the Home Minister for making the statement that he did. I say this with full responsibility because what the DMK and other parties that are calling delimitation an injustice to the South are trying to do is weaponize delimitation. They are weaponizing delimitation to further their political narrative of a North-South divide. All right, let's listen to the concerns. Absolutely, the population of India has grown. Where we froze off last time was in 1971 when there was a population of the entire country at 54.8 crore. Today, as per the population projection report, we don't have the 2021 census yet, but when we do, meanwhile, there is a population projection report by the Ministry of Home Affairs and Family Planning. Says that our population today is 141 crore. Where is 54? Where is 141? The same argument, by the way, is what the Congress in Karnataka is speaking about, talking about having multiple corporations within Bengaluru, because the population of Bengaluru has grown asymmetrically, and administration, what should have been 1:20 lakh population has, for a Lok Sabha seat, has significantly grown. For example, Bengaluru North seat is at a 31.3 lakh population for one Lok Sabha MP. So we have a real problem to deal with. Let's accept that first and foremost. The second thing over here, the Home Minister has very clearly stated that there is going to be no loss of seats. The loss of seats happened, to my DMK friend would remember, in 1962 when there was 1967, 1962 when there was a decrease from 41 to 39. Having said that, the concerns of the southern states have been brought to the forefront, and the Home Minister has very rightly said we are only going to increase the number of seats and it is going to be a pro rata basis. There will be no injustice done. I want to ask the Congress and the DMK, have you not been saying jitni abadi utni haq? Does that apply only in the case where it is politically, sensitive?
Let me get Syed Hafiz. Okay, you've raised your question. You've raised your question.
One person, one vote. Are you going against the basic tenet democracy of adult suffrage, one person, one vote? For your political...
Okay, go ahead, Hafizullah.
I hope I'll not be interrupted.
The BJP spokesperson is contradicting herself from the first and the last part of the statement. On one end, she says that there is not going to be increase or decreasing the seat. And then she says that the concept of one vote, one person. Then if the concept of one vote, one person applies or it is brought into effect, then naturally Tamil Nadu will, or the southern states will lose their seat. This is the confusion that the BJP is having. They have no clarity on how they are going to address this issue. That is one. History of delimitation has given a bitter lesson to the people of Tamil Nadu by losing 2 seats. It happened 40, 45 years back or 50 years back. That is because we maintained an effective population control method that was suggested by the Union Government of India. Rather than rewarding a state for taking up an initiative which was proposed by the Union Government, now 50 years down the line, we are here facing a punishment for implementing a policy promoted by the Union Government of India, which none of the other states did. Now, second, our concern is legitimate. Our expectation is legitimate. Simple. We want the demographic dynamics of all the state to remain as it is. And coming to the Home Minister's statement, this is the most unreliable government we have ever seen. This is the most unreliable cabinet we have seen. Even in the parliament, they don't tell facts. The RTA is not functioning. You want to believe the Home Minister's statement, which was just given in a public meeting. Let them give it in the writing. Let the stand of the BJP come in black and white, saying this proportionate. Our demand is simple. There should be proportionate increase in seats across all states. By example, a state of UP with 80 seats, if they get 40 increase to 120, then Tamil Nadu with 39 should get 60. This is the formula that we are expecting. Number of what? No, that is what I'm telling. Why BJP is confused. On one hand, they talk about pro rata, and when they turn to the far end of the speech, they say one vote, one person is against the principle. Why are you confused? This confusion is what making us anxious. Thank you.
Syed, you made your point emphatically. Let me, before I get to the BJP again on this, Jyotsna Tirunageri, as an NDA ally, but a southern party, is this a matter of concern? Because we have heard statements from the TDP as well about population control. Is this a matter of concern, A? B, do you believe that it is time to have this debate concretely, given that there still seems to be no clarity over when this process will even play out? As constitutionally, it would have to happen only after a census after 2026. Where does the TDP stand on this issue?
See, TDP from day one onwards, we have been saying that the population issue that we have raised is a more larger issue. I would say it time and again, because it's a more larger issue. It's just not limited to delimitation. It's just not limited to, the seats in the parliament or things like that. We have spoken about the economic development of our state, where we are standing, and what about the future of our younger generation. All those things that we spoke about when we spoke about the population control. And also the effects of it that have had an impact on the state of Andhra Pradesh. That was our concern. Now, coming to the present topic, Veera, I know I don't, in fact, I would say I'm a little bit surprised by the statements of the DMK spokesperson. Not that I'm an NDA ally, but I have certain concerns on it. I'll tell you why. Because this issue was raised by the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. On what basis has he raised this issue? Stating that we are going to be losing. That is the reason the Honorable Home Minister has given a clear indication, clear statement saying that, boss, you're not losing anything. There is an assurance from us to the Tamilians and also all the South Indians that we are not losing anything in the number of seats. Everything would be properly taken care of. Because you raised a question, we have given an answer. Now, coming back to the question of DMK, the question was raised by them because people asked questions on their government failure in the state of Tamil Nadu. So you see the circle there, Veera? It's nothing to do with delimitation. It's nothing to do with population. It's nothing to do with the development. It's nothing to do with anything. It's just because questions were raised on their inefficiency and on the misdeeds of that particular government. They in fact come back and say that no, we are losing seats.
Okay.
So our government at the center has given a clear indication that nobody is losing seats. And yes, again, in your introduction of my party and me, you have given very clearly, Veera, saying that though NDA ally, we are a southern state, yes, and also a very strong state which always has stood for the rights of southern part of India. We have already stood for, we always have stood for that. So definitely, if it requires that we have to be very vocal in our concerns in front of the central government, we would do that again because we are a part of it.
All right. Okay. You're saying that you will take your concerns.
If there are
You're saying you will take the matter up with the centre, but there is no point creating a ruckus. All three of you have made your points. Let me come to you, Bhavya Narasimha.
If there are any concerns, let me put it very clearly again.
If there are any concerns. You are not saying there are concerns as yet. You will wait for things to play out. And if there are concerns, you will take that up. All right. Got it. Let me get to Bhavya Narasimha. Ma'am, while Chief Minister Siddaramaiah seems to be taking a stand, the Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnav has asked Rahul Gandhi if he will take a stand on delimitation, being an MP from Uttar Pradesh. Is this going to be a delicate issue for the Congress while your strong southern allies may take it aggressively?
So first of all, whether it is the Home Minister Amit Shah or the BJP spokesperson here or the NDA alliance spokesperson here, they need to understand a very basic math concept. If it is pro rata, that means the seats will be distributed proportionally, right? The population of states in the north and south, they have increased definitely, but not at the same rate. The percentage of increase in Uttar Pradesh is totally different by the increase of population is totally different from the percentage increase in population of Karnataka, right? So either they can do two things. First option, because the population has doubled, just for example, just for the case. So 28 seats in Karnataka has to be doubled to 56. And Uttar Pradesh, 80 seats has to be doubled to 160. Then the concept of one vote, one person will be failed. So what Amit Shah says and what the spokesperson is saying here is totally contradictory. You can't delimit based on pro rata or proportionality because the state's increase in population is not at the same rate. Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand, the population increase in population rate is very high compared to southern states. You cannot reward a state for not controlling its population by punishing the states which has controlled its population and concentrated on development projects. This is just basic mathematics and a basic concept of one vote, one person. The BJP government, they need to have a clarity.
I'm sorry, Bhavya. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm going to ask you. You made a very strong point, and that's the point that the DMK has made as well, and that point is taken. But I had a sharp, specific question to you.
They don't have a clarity. BJP has zero clarity.
No, I have a specific question to you about whether the Congress can take a united stand on language and delimitation, given the fact that for a national party, it may be far more difficult than a regional party to take a stand on this issue. Quick answer to that question before I get to Sandeep Shastri.
When you said something about language, what was the question? On language? On language, Congress has always been clear.
I asked you.
Diversity, every language is important. Diversity matters. There is no one nation, one language concept here.
All right. Okay.
Congress is very clear on that when it comes to language.
Let me get to Sandeep Shastri. As far as the delimitation debate is concerned, Sandeep Shastri, multiple points of view here. It is a constitutionally complicated exercise. First of all, there needs to be a census. There was supposed to be a census in 2021, which has gotten delayed. We don't have it. There has to be a census, some argue, after 2026, and then the delimitation process has to go through. So there is no clarity about it. Is it possible to have a substantive debate at this stage? Or should we be having a substantive debate at this stage? Or this is purely about political exchange and electoral needs of certain political parties?
Dheeraj, the debate is natural and it's going to happen. There is no question of doubt that this will happen after 2026, the whole delimitation exercise. But then there are 2 points which need to be considered. Number one, if you are going to keep the same number of Lok Sabha seats of 543 and redistribute those 543 seats based on the projection of population that is happening, if you keep the number of seats the same and redistribute the entire seats, the data shows that South India and East India would lose around 25 seats. And those seats would go to Northern India. The losing states would be Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra, and Telangana. And the states which would be gaining are Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Rajasthan, and Madhya Pradesh. Now, there are those who say, no, the number of Lok Sabha seats will not remain the same. The number of Lok Sabha seats may be increased. The new Lok Sabha can accommodate more people. So even if you extrapolate and say number of Lok Sabha seats will be increased to 888, then there is a critical question, Veera. There is no question of doubt that when you increase the Lok Sabha seats to 888, every state seats will go up. Yes. But then the critical question is, will it go up as per the proportion of the population, or will it go up as per the proportion of the present distribution of seats? What do I mean? A quick point. If it goes up as per the present proportion of seats, a state like Uttar Pradesh will have 130 out of 888 seats. A state like Karnataka will have 50 seats. A state like Tamil Nadu will have 70 seats. Yes, it will go up from where it is. But if you are going to make it on the basis of a population based on 2026 census projections, what will happen then? Uttar Pradesh will get around 145 seats and not 130. Karnataka will not get 50 seats, but 42. Tamil Nadu will not get 70 seats, but 50. So Tamil Nadu will go up by 20. Karnataka will go up by 8. But Karnataka's share in the All India Lok Sabha seats, which is now 5%, will go down to 4%. Tamil Nadu's share will go down from its present. So the critical point is, seats may increase, all state seats may increase because the number of Lok Sabha seats are increasing. That is the logic. But what about the percentage share of every state? Now, by pro rata, do you mean in proportion to what is now? Or do you mean pro rata in proportion to what will be the population percentage?
That's right.
This is the
Surabhi, I'm just coming. Absolutely, Sandeep Shastri. You've raised the most important point in this. I have the last 4 minutes left of this discussion. So very, very short answers from all my political guests here. Surabhi, the fact is that there is no clarity on how this is going to go about. Why make an assurance at this stage is the question that's being raised by the opposition. Very quick response on why there is no clarity. Should there be first clarity on how we're going to go about it from the BJP and the centre before an assurance?
I appreciate Sandeep Shastri's comments. In fact, this debate revolves around precisely that question on what pro rata definition is. The problem that the BJP has been highlighting, and the Home Minister had to come and step in and say, is that the DMK, its chief minister, as well as the allies in the Indie Alliance here in Karnataka and elsewhere, have gone on to fearmonger, put in this fear and say our seats are going to reduce, we're going to be taken away our share. The problem here is not a Home Minister had to come and clarify, look, you know what, we're coming up with a delimitation commission. Here's the terms of reference. Here's the data that we're going to use. None of the DMK folks know that data. On what basis are you saying that this is going to be a loss? On what basis? Put out a white paper. Put out a white paper for the people to see. On what basis are you saying that the seats are going to reduce? You said that on the debate as well.
Saeed Hafiz?
May I just finish one?
The point is that the Home Minister's comment...
lack of information and deliberate disinformation from the Congress and the DMK, which is why the Home Minister had to come and clarify. Stop breaking us on this north-south. Stop it.
Okay, Saeed Hafiz, very quickly. It's purely because of fear-mongering by the DMK, says the BJP, raising an issue for electoral reasons that the Home Minister had to respond. Very quickly, 30 seconds to you to respond.
I think she should lecture and
of your data.
I think, Madam, this is how they snatch our time.
Can you mute her?
This is an example of how BJP will snatch our time and our rights.
Just ask the additional question. You've been fear-mongering all these...
One minute, Surabhi. I've given you your 30 seconds. Saeed Hafiz, please
mute her, otherwise...
Bhavya, you don't have
This is how BJP snatches democracy from the southern state, not letting the DMK speak in their own time. Second point, see, there is already a method. These methodologies have come on public domain by cephologists. There are 2 or 3 scenarios. If one of the scenario, in almost all the scenarios that has come out, logically the southern states are going to lose. If it is not going to go, if they're not going to lose, then it is on the part of the government to come on black and white and say, no, you're not going to lose. The senior psychologist has given.
Okay.
Madam, have the manners.
Jyotsna Tirunagari, 30 seconds to you. Quick response and I get the last word from Bhavya. Very quickly.
No. This is unfair on the part of the BJP to take the time of the other panelists. This is exactly what BJP is doing.
Jyotsna Tirunagari, 30 seconds.
Veera, I'll tell you one. That was my opening statement. Nothing has been finalized now. Nothing. In fact, you know, if we have to go for it, we have to first have the census. That's what we all have been talking about. There are no, procedural things, SOPs set, nothing set. And now there are some parties who are coming up and saying that no, we'll lose seats. So that's, I think the BJP spokespersons put it very clearly, saying that fear-mongering. Don't do that. Let's wait. Let's see what's happening. If
Bhavya, your last 30 seconds.
We all have to talk about it.
If last 30 seconds of the show. Bhavya,
if only the Home Minister or the spokespersons speaking for him had any clarity on what basis they would do this delimitation, this particular confusion would not be here. And the fear-mongering, no, it is the fear that exists, and it's your job to release white paper, not ours.
Okay.
The delimitation committee is been set up by you. You need to give us a clarity. You need to tell us exactly what you're going.
Love a good deal? Try free to play Deal or No Deal, only at Tombola. There's up to £1,000 to be won. Get that good deal feeling. Open for fun.
I urgently need to ask for your help on behalf of animals at risk right now. With the pandemic came a surge in pet ownership. And sadly, we're now seeing a serious rise in neglect, cruelty and abuse. Our services are being stretched to the limit. To make matters worse, our costs are soaring too. But we refuse to let animals suffer. So please, act now to help rescue the growing number of animals who've never needed us more. Please call or text the number on screen now to give £2 a month to the RSPCA. In one of the toughest times we have ever experienced, your gift will make all the difference to animals. You could help provide more life-saving treatment, food, shelter, and the loving care that many have never known. We know there are millions of you who, like us, care deeply and won't stand by while animals are suffering. We have to reach those trapped in a life of abuse and neglect before it's too late. Because for many, the RSPCA is their only hope. But we can only come to the rescue with the support of people like you. So please, will you help us be there no matter what? Call 0800 313 4392 or text RSPCA to 78866 to start your monthly gift today. Thank you.
Quidco gives you cashback every time you shop on over 5,000 brands. It always pays to Quidco. Sign up and start saving today. Visit quidco.com.
Play the Great Big Lottery and you can help make more wins happen at Great Ormond Street Hospital. Like bringing fun to Rajveer's ward, discovering new treatments and helping children go home sooner. Just call 0800 472 5774 or search Gosh Lottery to start playing for just £1. There's up to £10,000 up for grabs in our annual Super Draw, plus a £1,000 jackpot every week, and many more great cash prizes. So call or go online now for a chance to win big prizes and make more wins happen.
I like to think ahead. Make sure I've got all the right tools for the job. And now that I've turned 50, it means looking after what I've built. I'll be retiring down the line, and with the mortgage nearly done, I want to make sure that my lot will be protected if anything happened to me. That's why I decided to learn more about over 50s life insurance from Cover Today. They're the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period. Unlike other insurers who could make you wait up to 2 years for full cover, with Cover Today, you're fully covered from day one. And you're covered for the whole of your life. Plus, unlike other things in life, the price never goes up. Learning more couldn't be simpler and can be done in just a few minutes. Go online or talk to one of their friendly UK team who will chat you through your options in just one phone call. And their claims process is really straightforward, so your loved ones will be looked after.
Cover Today are the only over-50s life insurer with no waiting period. Get covered in minutes with no annoying trips to the doctor. With fixed monthly payments, prices start at just £4.42 a month. Plus, you get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Cover Today has given me genuine peace of mind. And now that's done, I can get on with something much more interesting.
To find out more about Cover Today, call our friendly UK team on 0800 470 4322 or visit covertoday.co.uk.
Well, breaking news coming in at this point. The Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav, he has questioned Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin on the language row, while also nudging Congress leader Rahul Gandhi and pointing fingers at the poor governance in the southern states. Remember, this entire controversy stems from the National Education Policy's 3-language policy, which mandates the study of Hindi, English and a regional language. In fact, my colleague Aishwarya Jain joins us to get us more on this. Aishwarya, the Railway Minister has now weighed in on the language row. Get us the details.
Well, certainly it is. Union Railway Minister and Information and Broadcasting Minister Ashwini Vaishnav, who had now waded into the entire controversy and also dragged Rahul Gandhi into it. Remember, it was earlier Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin who stepped up his attack at the BJP-led central government over alleged Hindi imposition, saying that Hindi swallowed over a score of regional languages. In fact, in his tweet, he pointed out that more than 25 North Indian native languages have been destroyed by the invasion of Hindi Sanskrit languages, and the century-old Dravidian movement safeguarded Tamil and its culture because of the awareness it created at the various levels. Remember, it was the government who earlier clarified, as far as Education Ministry is concerned, that regarding the new education policy, there was no new language or no regional language that had been deleted or had not been the part of the curriculum. It is every regional language which was earlier, had been added, and now Ashwini Vaishnav also dragged in Rahul Gandhi. He tweeted it out and stated that poor governance will never be hidden by such shallow attempts to divide the society, attacking the Tamil Nadu government, and also stated that what would be the leader of oppositions, Rahul Gandhi's say to it on this subject. Does he, as an MP of a Hindi-speaking seat, agree to what Mr. Stalin is stating about Hindi swallowing the 25 regional languages? Certainly a comment that had been asked as far as Rahul Gandhi is concerned. Remember, Rahul Gandhi comes from Raebareli, Hindi belt, and Ashwini Vaishnav clearly now asking the DMK's alliance partner, Congress party, as to what Rahul Gandhi's views are on this particular subject.
Aishwarya Jain, thank you very much for getting us all the latest as far as this recent development is concerned. Meanwhile, a fresh twist in the language row. The Thane Municipal Corporation had recently decided to discontinue salary increments for its employees who hold a master's degree in Marathi, sparking outrage. Eknath Shinde, the Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister, he overruled the corporation's decision, ordering the Thane Municipal Commissioner to reinstate the increments that had been halted. Shinde emphasized his commitment to supporting Marathi speakers, ensuring that those with an MA in the language would once again receive their due financial benefits. Listen in to what Eknath Shinde had to say.
थाने कॉर्पोरेशन ने जो MA मराठी में किए हुए जो हमारे कर्मचारी थे, उनका जो वेतन इंक्रीमेंट जो है वो स्टॉप करने का निर्णय लिया था, उसे मैंने फिर से शुरू करने का निर्देश दिए हुए कमिश्नर ठाणे महापालिका। इसलिए जो इंक्रीमेंट बंद हुए थे वो अभी शुरू हो जाएंगे.
Well, the Delhi High Court has imposed a significant fine on Amazon, directing the company to pay rupees 340 crore for a deliberate trademark breach involving the luxury brand Beverly Hills Polo Club. The court found that Amazon willfully infringed the brand's trademark by selling products with a nearly identical logo under its own symbol brand at a fraction of the price, diluting the luxury brand's exclusivity. High Court highlighted Amazon's deliberate attempt to shift blame by acting as an intermediary, retailer and brand owner simultaneously, calling it a strategy of obfuscation to evade liability. As a result, Amazon has been permanently barred from selling, advertising or dealing in any products bearing marks identical or deceptively similar to the Beverly Hills Polo Club trademark. In a move that may pave the way for the trial of 2611 accused Tehavoor Hussain Rana in Delhi, the Patiala House Court has recalled its trial court records related to the Mumbai terror attack. The trial court records had been sent to Mumbai earlier because of multiple cases related to the attacks being heard in both the cities. The Delhi court's order was prompted by the NIA moving an application seeking to retrieve the records from Mumbai. Rana's extradition was announced by US President Donald Trump during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the country earlier this month. During a joint press conference with the Prime Minister of India, Donald Trump had said that today I am pleased to announce that my administration has approved the extradition of one of the plotters, one of the very evil people of the world. Days after setting preconditions for disarmament, Manipur's valley-based group Arambai Tengol today have started to surrender arms which were looted from police armory during the ethnic violence in the state that started in 2023. Manipur Governor A.K. Bhalla had set a deadline of 7 days, which is ending this evening, for the public to surrender the looted arms or face strict action. The authorities heightened security in Manipur's Imphal West district on the final day of the 7-day ultimatum for voluntarily surrendering looted and illegally held arms and ammunition as part of efforts to end the protracted ethnic violence in the northeastern states.
Separate administration, they said they will not give to Kuki. That is one point. Then we need to have a good relation with the police personnel so that the peace and the peaceful atmosphere prevail in Manipur. The periphery areas in the outskirts of Manipur, the outskirts, peripheral areas in the valley, they should be guarded by the central forces and as well as state police. They agreed upon the free movement of Arambai Tengols with their uniform in and around. There is no problem with the government authority.
In a major development, on the last day of the deadline given by Manipur Governor A.K. Bhalla to the general public to deposit the looted arms which were looted from the police armory in Manipur ever since the ethnic violence had started in the state in May 2023. Arambai Tengol, which operates in the Imphal Valley region, particularly in the fringe areas between the valley and the hills, they have come forward, their members have come forward to surrender arms at the first Manipur Rifles complex in Imphal amid heavy security. In fact, this afternoon their members in SUVs and pickup truck, they brought the arms along with several combat gears and they have deposited it. Now at this moment the police is making account of the deposited arms which are in hundreds. That's what we have been given to understand. Remember, it was on February 20th that the governor had issued an ultimatum to the general public that they have to deposit the looted arms, otherwise strict action would be taken, and 7-day time was given at that point of time. And then at that point of time the governor had assured that anybody who deposits the arms within the 7 days time, no punitive action would be taken. And after that we saw on last Tuesday a delegation of Arambai Tengol met the governor. They set some preconditions for the disarmament and had hinted that they were ready to surrender the arms if the governor agrees to the preconditions, which also includes that the central forces will have to ensure that after the volunteers from the valley side deposit the arms, there would not be any retaliation from the hillside. Remember, the governor is also in talks with the armed groups, the armed volunteers from the hillside, so as to recover the arms, so that once the arms are recovered, then the central forces can take charge of the situation, and the governor, the central government can then start a peace negotiation, given the fact that the Manipur is under President's rule.
Well, the latest in the Pune rape case, the Pune Police Chief Amitesh Kumar and the Joint Commissioner of Police Ranjan Kumar Sharma, they visited the bus depot where a 26-year-old woman was raped inside a stationary bus. The accused, he is a history sheeter. This man was out on bail, and shockingly, the bus depot, it was very close to the police station. The 26-year-old woman was at the bus depot waiting to take a bus when she was misled by the accused. The main suspect, Ramdas Gade, is still on the run. The shocking rape, in fact, has triggered protests across the state. The Maharashtra Home Minister Yogesh Kadam has addressed the media, saying that 8 teams have been dispatched to hunt down this accused.
पुणे रेप केस में जो भी अत्याचार जिसने किया है वो कोई भी हो, किसी का भी आदमी हो, उसको बख्शा नहीं जाएगा, उसको अरेस्ट होगी, उसको कड़ी कार्रवाई होगी। उसको मैं तो कहूँगा कि हमारे लाडली बहनों को हम लोग ने लाडली बहन योजना किया, एसटी में 50% सहूलत दे दी, लेकिन ऐसे जो गुनाहगार है उनको बिल्कुल बख्शा नहीं जाएगा। उनको कड़ी से कड़ी सजा, फांसी तक की सजा देने की सरकार की भूमिका है।
इथे देखील जवळपास 8 टीम्स ह्या पोलिसांमार्फत तयार केल्या गेलेल्या आहेत आणि लवकरच आरोपीला पकडलं जाईल। की ज्या वेळेला ही फिर्याद आल्याच्या नंतर अर्ध्या तासाच्या आतच आपण आरोपीला आयडेंटिफाय केलं आणि आरोपी अलर्ट होऊ नये ह्यासाठी ही बातमी बाहेर येऊ नये ह्याची आपण पोलिसांमार्फत दक्षता घेतली गेली, जी अत्यंत गरजेची होती। आणि जर का त्वरितच ही बातमी जर का बाहेर पडली असती तर कदाचित आता जे आपल्याला संभाव्य लोकेशन मिळालेलं आहे तर ते मिळालं नसतं आणि आरोपी जो आहे तो अजून कदाचित कुठल्या दुसऱ्या ठिकाणी किंवा लांब तो पळून जाण्याची शक्यता जास्त होती। आणि म्हणून ही घटना लपवण्याचा प्रयत्न हा झालेला नाही, फक्त गुप्तता ही पाळली गेलेली आहे कारण ती गरजेची होती। मला तर रात्री 1:30 वाजता तिथले पीआय आहेत ते स्वतः सीसीटीव्ही फुटेजमध्ये देखील दिसत आहेत, ते स्वतः तिथे रात्री 1:30 वाजता एसटी स्टँडच्या आवारामध्ये ते फेरी मारून गेलेले आहेत, इथे पाहणी करून गेलेले आहेत। पुन्हा रात्री 3 वाजता 3-3:15 वाजता देखील पीआय तिथे रात्री गस्त घालून गेलेले आहेत, त्यांच्या टीम सोबत पाहणी करून गेलेले आहेत।
प्रताप जी सरनायक जो हमारे परिवहन मंत्री हैं वो जरूर उस पर कार्रवाई करेंगे।
जब निर्भया रेप हुआ था उसके बाद काफी कानून में बदलाव लाया गया था और केवल कानून से ही ऐसी घटनाओं को हम कम नहीं कर सकते। कानून के अलावा समाज पे बहुत बड़ी जिम्मेदारी है और समाज के अलावा कानून की इम्प्लीमेंटेशन होनी चाहिए। और ऐसी जो उदाहरण आते हैं उनके खिलाफ कड़ी से कड़ी कार्यवाही करना, ढंग से इन्वेस्टिगेशन होना, जल्दी से जल्दी ट्रायल होना और जल्दी से जल्दी सजा होना, ये बहुत ज़रूरी है। तो न्याय प्रणाली को भी इसमें बहुत बड़ी जिम्मेदारी है, सरकार में पुलिस की प्रणाली को बड़ी जिम्मेदारी है।
In a big development in the Nilam Shinde case, the US Embassy has granted the family of Nilam Shinde a visa interview, which is scheduled for 9 a.m. on Friday. This comes as a ray of hope for Nilam's family, who have been trying to get the visa to go to the United States to see their daughter. The 35-year-old Indian student, Nilam Shinde, she met with an accident in California on the 14th of February and has since been in a coma. The family's plea for help, it has sparked the NDTV Save Nilam campaign, with many people coming forward to support the cause. In fact, the US Embassy's decision to grant a visa interview is a significant step forward, and the family is hopeful that they will soon be able to see Nilam as soon as possible.
Tanaji Shinde and Gaurav Kadam. Thank you so much for speaking to NDTV again. किस तरह से आप देख रहे हैं गौरव, बता सकते हैं हमें कि कॉल आया आपको, क्या बताया गया है इंटरव्यू के बारे में?
हाँ जी मैम, तो कैसा है, आप सबकी मदद से, चैनल की मदद से और गवर्नमेंट की सब हेल्प से अभी हमें वहाँ से कॉल आया है और हमें कल की ही अपॉइंटमेंट मिल चुकी है, कल सुबह 9 बजे की।
कल सुबह 9 बजे की आपको अपॉइंटमेंट मिली है। अभी कहाँ हैं आप और आपको मुंबई पहुंचना होगा?
यस, अभी हम हमारे गांव में, सातारा जिला में है, सातारा डिस्ट्रिक्ट उमरज में है हम।
हाँ, तो आपको कितना समय लगेगा यानी कि मुंबई जाने में?
यहाँ से 5 घंटा लगता है मैम, 5 घंटा लगता है, तो आज ही हम निकल जाएंगे मुंबई के लिए।
आपको किसका फोन आया था? क्या मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स से आपको आया है फोन?
हाँ जी, क्या हुआ मतलब हमें सीधा काउंसलेट ऑफिस से ही कॉल आ गया और जो मतलब स्पेशली थैंक यू मतलब हमारे मतलब सीएम देवेंद्र फडणवीस जी, अजित पवार जी, मुरलीधर मोहोळ जी और अतुल बाबा भोसले और एकनाथ जी शिंदे साहब, और मुझे स्पेशल थैंक सुप्रिया ताई सुळे, इन सबका मतलब करना है कि इन्होंने बहुत ज्यादा हेल्प किया और इनकी वजह से हम अभी वहाँ पे पहुंच चुके हैं। मतलब
जी, बहुत ही अच्छी बात है, बहुत ही अच्छी बात है। आपके लिए काफ़ी सपोर्ट आ रहा है और हम इस खबर को लगातार दिखा रहे हैं कि हम भी चाहते हैं कि आप जल्दी से जल्दी यूएस पहुंचे। तो आप बता रहे हैं कि एमईए की तरफ से आपको कॉल आया है, आपके साथ टच में कौन रहा है? वैसे आप बता सकते हैं कि इंडियन गवर्नमेंट की साइड से?
गवर्नमेंट की साइड से मतलब काउंसिल ऑफिस से अभी तो हुआ टच, वैसे मतलब सब ओएसडी है ना, सभी गवर्नमेंट मतलब सीएम साहब के वगैरह और अजित पवार जी और एकनाथ जी साहब के, वही सब कनेक्ट में रह चुके हैं अभी हमारे साथ, उन्होंने सब फॉलो अप करके किया है प्रोसेस।
अच्छा, तो आप बता रहे हैं कि आपको अभी मुंबई जाना होगा, आप रात तक पहुंचेंगे मुंबई?
हाँ जी, रात लेट नाइट तक पहुंच जाएंगे हम मुंबई।
तो इंटरव्यू के लिए जो है आप दोनों को बुलाया गया है?
हाँ जी, दोनों का अपॉइंटमेंट मिल चुका है, दोनों का मतलब डिटेल सब आ गया है कि कल आप आ जाइए, आपका इंटरव्यू हम करवा दें। अभी हम होप यही रखे कि हमारा इंटरव्यू हो जाए सही से और हमें वीजा मिल जाए, यही हम प्रार्थना करें कि वो मिल जाए।
जी, आप अपने पिता से भी बात करवा सकते हैं, वो किस तरह से देख रहे हैं, कैसा फील कर रहे हैं अभी?
हाँ जी, मैं उनसे बात करवा देता हूँ।
जी, आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे? आपको कॉल आया है अभी, आपको लग रहा है, उम्मीद है आपको कि आपको जल्दी वीजा मिल जाएगा?
हाँ, जल्दी। अभी जो वो चीफ मिनिस्टर और सब हमारे पुराने लोग हैं, उसमें जो किया है ठीक, अच्छा किया है। वो वीजा मिल जाएगी, बस इतना ही, और उधर जा सके हम।
जी,
तो थोड़ा क्या हो रहा है, थोड़ा डिप्रेशन की वजह से ज्यादा मतलब वो ये कर रहे, बोल नहीं पा रहे।
नहीं, बिल्कुल, हम बिल्कुल समझ सकते हैं। अभी जो है अभी काफ़ी डिफ़िकल्ट समय है, पर हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं। हम भी चाहते हैं कि आपकी फैमिली जो है जल्दी से जल्दी वहाँ पर पहुँचे और नीलम का आप देखभाल कर पाएँ। तो आप ये भी बता सकते हैं, वहाँ यूएस अथॉरिटीज़ की तरफ से कोई टच में है आपके यहाँ कि नीलम का जो अटेंडेंट है वहाँ पे, आप बता रहे एक फ्रेंड भी है वहाँ पे, वहाँ से रेगुलर अपडेट्स आपको आ रहे हैं?
कैसा है मैम, वहाँ से रेगुलर मतलब रोज कॉल आ जाता है अपने को, रोज वहाँ से।
वहाँ की कोई अथॉरिटी, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन आपके टच में है?
आवाज आती है? यस, वहाँ की जो यूनिवर्सिटी है जहाँ पे वो पढ़ती है, वहाँ से वो हमारे कांटेक्ट में है, वो सब चीज वहाँ से लग जाएगी वो वाली। और दूसरी बात रही मतलब हॉस्पिटल से भी मतलब बहुत ज्यादा हेल्प होती है, हॉस्पिटल से रोज कॉल आ जाता है, वो सब जो हम पूछते हैं डिटेल उसके बारे में, पेशेंट के बारे में, वो सब हमें डिटेल देते हैं कॉल पे ही सीधा सब।
तो आपको हॉस्पिटल यानी कि अथॉरिटीज से कॉल आता है, आप ये बता रहे हैं?
अच्छा, आ जाता है कॉल वहाँ से।
अच्छा, और कोई इंडियन एम्बेसी से आपको कॉल आता है, कोई आपके टच में है या नहीं है?
नहीं, वहाँ से कोई ऐसा टच नहीं।
अच्छा, ठीक है, तो आपको जो है हॉस्पिटल से ही सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन मिल रही है, वहीं से आपको कॉल आ रहे हैं, आप बता रहे हैं?
हॉस्पिटल से। और वहाँ से थोड़े सोशल वर्कर भी जुड़े हुए हैं, वो भी हेल्प करते हैं।
जी, गौरव, अब क्या उम्मीद कर रहे हैं, सरकार से क्या उम्मीद है आपकी? मैं समझ पा रही हूँ बोलने में दिक्कत हो रही होगी, आपके पिता को भी दिक्कत हो रही है, बोलने में और समझ सकते हैं हम आपका पेन, बट क्या उम्मीद है आपको सरकार से? अब क्या करना चाहिए?
अभी उम्मीद वही है कि ये जो अभी ये जो प्रोसेस चल रही है, इंटरव्यू होगा वो हो जाए सही से, और हमें जल्द से जल्द, जितना जल्द से जल्द हम यहाँ से उड़ान भर सके वहाँ जाने के लिए, वो हो जाए, और ये इसमें हमारे गवर्नमेंट हेल्प करे, ये हम अभी चाहते हैं।
नीलम को जल्दी वापस लाना चाहते हैं आप?
हाँ जी, हाँ जी। और उसको भी मतलब वो भी क्या हो रहा है, 2-3 दिन से उसका भी थोड़ा सा वो प्रो हो रहा है, वो मतलब ट्रीटमेंट को हेल्प कर रही है, मतलब ट्रीटमेंट को अच्छी तरीके से मतलब कर पा रही है। उसको हो रहा है, क्या बोलते हैं, ट्रीटमेंट हो रही है सही से,
ट्रीटमेंट
प्रोग्रेस हो रहा है उसका, ऐसा है
जी
डॉक्टर के मुताबिक।
तो
हाँ जी। और मुझे स्पेशली थैंक आपका चैनल का भी करना है मैडम, और चैनल की, आपके चैनल की वजह से भी मतलब बहुत ज्यादा हेल्प हुआ हम वहाँ तक पहुँचने के लिए, सब लोगों की तरफ, मतलब गवर्नमेंट की तरफ हो या
जी बिल्कुल नहीं, आपको वो सब नहीं, कोई आपको ये कहने की ज़रूरत नहीं, पर ये हमारा ड्यूटी बनती है, हमारी फ़र्ज़ बनती है कि हम अगर इस तरह की हमारे देश का कोई बच्चा या कोई युवक या युवती इस तरह की स्थिति में है और बाहर कोई फंसा हुआ है, तो हमारी ये ड्यूटी बनती है कि हम उस खबर को दिखाएं और आपकी मदद करें। और हम चाहते हैं जल्दी से जल्दी नीलम ठीक हो जाए, नीलम वापस भी आए। आप दोनों जाने वाले हैं यानी कि अब इंटरव्यू के लिए?
हाँ जी, हाँ जी मैम, हम दोनों ही जाने वाले।
अच्छा, और अंकल भी हैं? क्या अंकल ने भी किस तरह से बातचीत की है, कुछ सहायता की है?
यस की है, उन्होंने भी बहुत ज्यादा सहायता की है सब चीज में।
अच्छा ठीक है, आपके पिता कुछ कहना चाहेंगे इस बारे में? अब आगे क्या होना चाहिए सरकार की तरफ से, किस तरह से जो है मैटर को अब आगे ले जाना चाहिए? तानाजी शिंदे जी, आप क्या चाहते हैं, क्या होना चाहिए अब? जल्द से जल्दी आपको वीजा मिले?
वीजा पास होना चाहिए और हमको अमेरिका जल्दी जाने का, बस इतना ही।
आप चाहते हैं नीलम जल्दी से वापस, आप नीलम के पास वहीं रुकेंगे या जैसे ही नीलम ठीक हो जाएगी उसे वापस लेकर आ जाएंगे?
नहीं, वही थोड़ा दिन वही रुकेंगे
जी,
बाद में हम
वहाँ भी थोड़े
जी आप इमोशनल हो रहे हैं, ठीक है, समझ रहे हैं। नीलम जल्दी ठीक हो जाएगी, सबकी उम्मीदें उसके साथ हैं और हम भी यही प्रे कर रहे हैं कि जल्दी से जल्दी नीलम ठीक हो और नीलम वापस आ जाए। गौरव कदम जी, ताना जी, थैंक यू सो मच हमसे बात करने के लिए। और हम चाहते हैं जी, जिस तरह से अपडेट्स आते रहेंगे हम आपको भी इन्फॉर्म करते रहेंगे और हमें बिल्कुल उम्मीद है कि सरकार जो है आपके टच में रहेगी और आपको भी पल पल की जो है अपडेट्स देते रहें। और जी जी हाँ बिल्कुल, हमारा सपोर्ट बिल्कुल आपके साथ है। जी क्या कह रहे हैं आप? जी कहिए।
आपका ही धन्यवाद, वही कह रहा हूँ, मतलब आपका धन्यवाद।
ऑल राइट, शुक्रिया हमसे बात करने के लिए।
Meanwhile, the good news and the positive news is that the family has got an interview for that visa. That interview is going to take place tomorrow at 9 a.m. In fact, my colleague Mohammad Ghazali, he has been tracking all the latest development. Let's listen to that.
Indian embassy officials and consulate officials in California, from Washington, they are all in touch with the hospital authorities where Nilam Shinde is undergoing the treatment, and they're also in touch with the relevant law enforcement agencies there who are tracking this case of what the family claims is a hit and run case because she met with an accident is what the official line is, but the family believes that it is a hit and run case and the authorities should pursue the case in that category to find the accused there. As far as who all are in touch with the family, we know that the External Affairs Ministry officials were the ones who got in touch with the embassy of the US embassy officials and consulate officials in Mumbai, from where the family was intimated that they have a visa appointment tomorrow, visa interview appointment tomorrow, and that is why the External Affairs Ministry officials here in Delhi, the embassy officials, the consulate officials back there in United States, they are in touch with the hospital authorities where she is undergoing the treatment. They are in touch with the doctors as well, and in such cases, because it's a long drawn process, the family would certainly like to visit there and also take her back, considering the fact that she is in coma right now. She has she is undergoing an emergency medical situation. So the family will be considering the fact that the first priority is to reach US as soon as possible, to go and see Nilam Shinde, who is in coma right now, because the family only spoke to her 2 days before the accident, and after that they were intimated and their approval was sought by the hospital authorities for a surgery on her. So that is the only communication they have had till now with the hospital authorities. And now, since it's a diplomatic intervention, or to say that the External Affairs Ministry has taken up this case, so you will see these processes getting expedited now, be it the visa issue, be it their travel, and also their access to Nilam Shinde once they reach US by the next month or in a couple of days from now.
Well, time now for a very short break. More news and updates on the other side.
A big focus remains the Maharashtra family's appeal for a US visa as their daughter is in coma. The student was actually hospitalized after an accident.
She was completely unconscious. She was injured.
The family members in Maharashtra seeking the center's help to get a visa to meet her.
जल्द से जल्द करना चाहिए और हमको हमारी बेटी के पास पहुंचना चाहिए, बस इतना ही बोलता हूँ.
Is it about an urgent visa or is it about a passport? Everything put together, because it's a very simple family.
मैडम, और चैनल की आपके चैनल की वजह से भी मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा हेल्प हुआ हम वहाँ तक पहुँचने के लिए सब लोगों की तरफ.
You could save money on your energy bill when you switch to a new deal. Take the power back. Switch and save now at uswitch.com.
When I woke up, they said, Alyssa, you've got leukemia. We found out that the chemo wasn't working. So at that point, it was like, I'm gonna die. My consultant was looking for these clinical trials, and she found this one at Great Ormond Street. I'm cancer-free now.
Curing Alyssa was a world first, but cancer is still the biggest killer of children in the UK. Will you help us do more? Search Gosh Care to give £3 a month and help build a new children's cancer centre at Great Ormond Street Hospital, a home for breakthrough research with world-class facilities to help beat cancer for more children. Together, with your kind support, we can help save lives and transform children's cancer care for decades to come. Text CARE to 70125 to give £3 a month and help build our new children's cancer centre. Together, we can beat cancer for more children.
Now I'm retired, I can spend more time with my grandson. I'm proud of him and want to help any way I can. Which reminds me.
Welcome to British Seniors, the UK's #1 rated provider of over 50s life insurance.
Hi, I'd like a quick quote.
No problem. We're proud to offer our seniors lifetime guarantee. With 100% of claims having been paid, we guarantee your premiums will never go up and that you'll speak to one of our specialists in the UK.
Well, that's good to know.
UK residents aged 50 to 80 are guaranteed to be accepted. Depending on your age, your loved ones can get a cash payout up to £10,000.
And that money can help with my funeral costs or even be used as a gift. I'll do it.
Plus, when you sign up, you'll receive a £135 gift card and free 24/7 GP advice and health services.
Thanks, Mum, for everything.
Be proud to protect your loved ones with British Seniors. To get a free quote today, call our UK team on 0800 158 552 or visit britishseniors.co.uk.
Sitting quietly while your car is made all shiny. Downtime can be just fine too. Ready meal is piping. Waterproof on the loo. Just enjoy your back tattoo. Tea break, face break, maybe even watch the ad break. Sometimes it's not time for some tombola, right? It's enjoying lasagna time, chilling with a book time, or time to visit your nan time. Put the phone down.
Hi, it's Phoebe from Auto Trader's monthly electric car giveaway, and we're pleased to say that you've won a brand new electric car.
It's a dream, honestly, it really is a dream. Oh my god. Me and my boyfriend talk about the Auto Trader competition every single month. I was waiting for the know you ever won.
I'll fix him, love. Poor pet. Just shows you never know what's going to happen. Which reminds me, I need to protect the life we've built. That's why I'm looking into smart family life insurance.
Hi, I'd like a quick quote, please. OK. You can choose a benefit amount up to £750,000, depending on your age. If you're a UK resident aged 18 to 64, you can apply with just a few health and lifestyle questions. For £250,000 of cover, the price starts at just £14.77 a month.
That's less than I thought. And it could help my husband with the mortgage.
Just like families, not all life insurance is the same. That's why we offer the Smart Family Guarantee.
That's good to know.
You'll also receive a 100% advance in the event of terminal illness and 10% cash back on your first year's premiums. That's the Smart Cashback. Plus, you'll also get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Protect the life you've built the smart way. To get a free quote today, call our specialist UK team on 0800 977 5753 or visit smartinsurance.co.uk.
Do you need to borrow money for home improvements, a car, or paying off debts? Then you've come to the right place. Everyday Loans. Just tell us how much you want to borrow, up to £15,000. At Everyday Loans, we offer a service that's friendly and reliable. Apply online or on your phone. So whatever your credit record, apply now at everydayloans.co.uk.
Awarded Best Customer Service at the 2023 Moneyfax Consumer Awards.
Representative APR 99.9%.
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
Good evening and welcome to the news on NDTV. I am Ankit Tyagi. These are the headlines. NDTV Impact, ray of hope for Nilam Shinde's family. US Embassy grants visa interview on Friday. Indian student in coma in United States after an accident. The family struggles with emergency visa. Nilam's family thanks NDTV, says got call after everyone's health. We just want to reach our daughter. Karnataka Chief Minister Satara speaks on delimitation after Home Minister's assurance. Satara says that Amit Shah's assurance misleading and unreliable. Southern CM's call for unity against centre. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin ups the ante on the language debate. Writes to Kada, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar were never Hindi heartlands. Languages swallowed by Hindi imposition. Prime Minister Modi pens blog on conclusion of Mahakumbh, lauds it for uniting millions in Prayagraj, says shows India's rich spiritual heritage. Countdown begins for the 97th Oscar Awards. Comedian Conan O'Brien to host the show. Nominees include Demi Moore, Adrian Brody and Ralph Our top focus this evening, ladies and gentlemen, the NDTV campaign has had an impact. The United States has granted an interview for visa at 9 a.m. on Friday for an emergency visa to Nilam Shinde's father, the 35-year-old woman who fractured her arms and legs and is in coma in California hospital after being hit by a car in a road accident on February 14th.
Tanaji Shinde and Gaurav Kadam, thank you so much for speaking to NDTV again. किस तरह से आप देख रहे हैं गौरव, बता सकते हैं हमें कि कॉल आया आपको, क्या बताया गया है इंटरव्यू के बारे में?
हाँ जी मैम, तो कैसा है आप सबकी मदद से, चैनल की मदद से और गवर्नमेंट की सब हेल्प से अभी हमें वहाँ से कॉल आया है और हमें कल की ही अपॉइंटमेंट मिल चुकी है, कल सुबह 9 बजे की।
आपको किसका फोन आया था? क्या मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स से आपको आया है फोन?
हाँ जी, क्या हुआ मतलब हमें सीधा काउंसलेट ऑफिस से ही कॉल आ गया और जो मतलब स्पेशली थैंक यू मतलब हमारे मतलब सीएम देवेंद्र फडणवीस जी, अजित पवार जी, मुरलीधर मोहोळ जी और अतुल बाबा भोसले और एकनाथ जी शिंदे साहब, और मुझे स्पेशल थैंक सुप्रिया ताई सुळे, इन सबका मतलब करना है कि इन्होंने बहुत ज्यादा हेल्प किया और इनकी वजह से हम अभी वहाँ पे पहुंच चुके हैं। मतलब
जी, बहुत ही अच्छी बात है, बहुत ही अच्छी बात है। आपके लिए काफ़ी सपोर्ट आ रहा है और हम इस खबर को लगातार दिखा रहे हैं कि हम भी चाहते हैं कि आप जल्दी से जल्दी यूएस पहुंचे। तो आप बता रहे हैं कि एमईए की तरफ से आपको कॉल आया है, आपके साथ टच में कौन रहा है? वैसे आप बता सकते हैं कि इंडियन गवर्नमेंट की साइड से।
गवर्नमेंट की साइड से मतलब काउंसिल ऑफिस से अभी तो होया टच, वैसे मतलब सब ओएसडी है ना, सभी गवर्नमेंट मतलब सीएम साहब के वगैरह और अजित पवार जी और एकनाथ जी साहब के, वही सब कनेक्ट में रह चुके हैं अभी हमारे साथ, उन्होंने सब फॉलो अप करके किया है प्रोसेस।
तो इंटरव्यू के लिए जो है आप दोनों को बुलाया गया है?
हाँ जी, दोनों का अपॉइंटमेंट मिल चुका है, दोनों का मतलब डिटेल सब आ गया है कि कल आप आ जाइए, आपका इंटरव्यू हम करवा देंगे। अभी हम होप यही रखे हैं कि हमारा इंटरव्यू हो जाए सही से और हमें वीजा मिल जाए, यही हम प्रार्थना करें कि वो मिल जाए।
जी, आप अपने पिता से भी बात करवा सकते हैं, वो किस तरह से देख रहे हैं, कैसा फील कर रहे हैं अभी?
हाँ जी, मैं उनसे बात करवा देता हूँ।
जी, आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे? आपको कॉल आया है अभी, आपको लग रहा है, उम्मीद है आपको कि आपको जल्दी वीजा मिल जाएगा?
हाँ, जल्दी। अभी जो वो चीफ मिनिस्टर और सब हमारे पुराने लोग हैं, उसमें जो किया है ठीक, अच्छा किया है। वो वीजा मिल जाए, बस इतना ही, और उधर जा सके हम।
जी,
थोड़ा क्या हो रहा है, थोड़ा डिप्रेशन की वजह से ज्यादा मतलब वो ये कर रहे हैं, बोल नहीं पा रहे।
नहीं, बिल्कुल, हम बिल्कुल समझ सकते हैं। अभी जो है अभी काफ़ी डिफ़िकल्ट समय है, पर हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं। हम भी चाहते हैं कि आपकी फैमिली जो है जल्दी से जल्दी वहाँ पर पहुँचे और नीलम का आप देखभाल कर पाएँ। तो आप ये भी बता सकते हैं, वहाँ यूएस अथॉरिटीज़ की तरफ से कोई टच में है आपके यहाँ कि नीलम का जो अटेंडेंट है वहाँ पे, आप बता रहे एक फ्रेंड भी है वहाँ पे, वहाँ से रेगुलर अपडेट्स आपको आ रहे हैं?
कैसा है मैम, वहाँ से रेगुलर मतलब रोज कॉल आ जाता है अपने को, रोज वहाँ से।
वहाँ की कोई अथॉरिटी, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन आपके टच में है?
आवाज आती है? यस, वहाँ की जो यूनिवर्सिटी है जहाँ पे वो पढ़ती है, वहाँ से वो हमारे कांटेक्ट में है, वो सब चीज वहाँ से लग जाएगी वो वाली। और दूसरी बात रही मतलब हॉस्पिटल से भी मतलब बहुत ज्यादा हेल्प होती है, हॉस्पिटल से रोज कॉल आ जाता है, वो सब जो हम पूछते हैं डिटेल उसके बारे में, पेशेंट के बारे में, वो सब हमें डिटेल देते हैं कॉल पे ही सीधा सब।
तो आपको हॉस्पिटल यानी कि अथॉरिटीज से कॉल आता है, आप ये बता रहे हैं?
अच्छा, आ जाता है कॉल वहाँ से।
अच्छा, और कोई इंडियन एम्बेसी से आपको कॉल आता है, कोई आपके टच में है या नहीं है?
नहीं, वहाँ से कोई ऐसा टच नहीं।
अच्छा, ठीक है, तो आपको जो है हॉस्पिटल से ही सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन मिल रही है, वहीं से आपको कॉल आ रहे हैं, आप बता रहे हैं?
हॉस्पिटल से। और वहाँ से थोड़े सोशल वर्कर भी जुड़े हुए हैं, वो भी हेल्प करते हैं।
जी, गौरव, अब क्या उम्मीद कर रहे हैं, सरकार से क्या उम्मीद है आपकी? मैं समझ पा रही हूँ बोलने में दिक्कत हो रही होगी, आपके पिता को भी दिक्कत हो रही है बोलने में, और समझ सकते हैं हम आपका पेन, बट क्या उम्मीद है आपको सरकार से? अब क्या करना चाहिए?
अभी उम्मीद वही है कि ये जो अभी ये जो प्रोसेस चल रही है, इंटरव्यू होगा, वो हो जाए सही से, और हमें जल्द से जल्द, जितना जल्द से जल्द हम यहाँ से उड़ान भर सके वहाँ जाने के लिए, वो हो जाए, और ये इसमें हमारे गवर्नमेंट हेल्प करे, यही हम अभी चाहते हैं।
नीलम को जल्दी वापस लाना चाहते हैं आप?
हाँ जी, और उसको भी मतलब वो भी क्या हो रहा है, 2-3 दिन से उसका भी थोड़ा सा वो प्रूव हो रहा है, मतलब ट्रीटमेंट को हेल्प कर रही है, मतलब ट्रीटमेंट को अच्छी तरीके से मतलब कर पा रही है। उसको हो रहा है, क्या बोलते हैं, ट्रीटमेंट हो रही है सही से,
ट्रीटमेंट
प्रोग्रेस हो रहा है उसका, ऐसा है
जी
डॉक्टर के मुताबिक।
तो
हाँ जी, और मुझे स्पेशली थैंक आपका चैनल का भी करना है मैडम, और चैनल की, आपके चैनल की वजह से भी मतलब बहुत ज्यादा हेल्प हुआ हम वहाँ तक पहुँचने के लिए, सब लोगों की तरफ, मतलब गवर्नमेंट की तरफ हो या
जी बिल्कुल नहीं, आपको वो सब नहीं, कोई आपको ये कहने की ज़रूरत नहीं, पर ये हमारा ड्यूटी बनती है, हमारी फ़र्ज़ बनती है कि हम अगर इस तरह की हमारे देश का कोई बच्चा या कोई युवक या युवती इस तरह की स्थिति में है और बाहर कोई फंसा हुआ है, तो हमारी ये ड्यूटी बनती है कि हम उस खबर को दिखाएं और आपकी मदद करें। और हम चाहते हैं जल्दी से जल्दी नीलम ठीक हो जाए, नीलम वापस भी आए। आप दोनों जाने वाले हैं यानी कि अब इंटरव्यू के लिए?
हाँ जी मैम, हम दोनों ही जाने वाले।
अच्छा, और अंकल भी हैं? क्या अंकल ने भी किस तरह से बातचीत की है, कुछ सहायता की है?
यस की है, उन्होंने भी बहुत ज़्यादा सहायता की है सब चीज़ में।
अच्छा, ठीक है। आपके पिता कुछ कहना चाहेंगे इस बारे में? अब आगे क्या होना चाहिए सरकार की तरफ से? किस तरह से जो है मैटर को अब आगे ले जाना चाहिए? तानाजी शिंदे जी, आप क्या चाहते हैं, क्या होना चाहिए अब? जल्द से जल्दी आपको वीजा मिले?
वीजा पास होना चाहिए और हमको अमेरिका जल्दी जाने का, बस इतना ही।
आप चाहते हैं नीलम जल्दी से वापस? आप नीलम के पास वहीं रुकेंगे या जैसे ही नीलम ठीक हो जाएगी उसे वापस लेकर आ जाएंगे?
नहीं, वही थोड़ा दिन वही रुकेंगे
जी।
बाद में हम
वहाँ भी थोड़े
जी, आप इमोशनल हो रहे हैं, ठीक है, समझ रहे हैं। नीलम जल्दी ठीक हो जाएगी, सबकी उम्मीदें उसके साथ हैं और हम भी यही प्रे कर रहे हैं कि जल्दी से जल्दी नीलम ठीक हो और नीलम वापस आ जाए। गौरव कदम जी, ताना जी, थैंक यू सो मच हमसे बात करने के लिए। और हम चाहते हैं जी, जिस तरह से अपडेट्स आते रहेंगे हम आपको भी इन्फॉर्म करते रहेंगे और हमें बिल्कुल उम्मीद है कि सरकार जो है आपके टच में रहेगी और आपको भी पल पल की जो है अपडेट्स देते रहें। और जी हाँ, बिल्कुल हमारा सपोर्ट बिल्कुल आपके साथ है। जी, क्या कह रहे हैं आप? जी कहिए।
आपका ही धन्यवाद, वही कह रहा हूँ, मतलब आपका धन्यवाद।
ऑल राइट, शुक्रिया हमसे बात करने के लिए।
We are now being joined by NCP Working President Supriya Sule, who has in fact raised this issue and has taken it up with the authorities. She has also reached out to Dr. S. Jaishankar, External Affairs Minister, and also the Indian Embassy in US. Ms. Sule, thank you so much for speaking to NDTV. Could you please elaborate this case?
Sir, this issue was, I must actually thank the media for it, because the media brought it to my notice. The media raised it and I read it on social media. And I think it's a very alarming issue which we all must get together and help resolve. And you won't believe it, after my tweet, I have students who have reached out to me, who have said that, can we help, can we speak to somebody? So even locally, the Indian children who are there are reaching out to me and saying, is there something that we can do? So it's really very encouraging, and I hope the authorities look at this entire situation very, very empathetically. And this is not about rules. This is about compassion, empathy. And rules are made by us. We're happy to follow them, but I'm sure there can be a special case made right away.
Ms. Sule, did the family, Mr. Tanaji Shinde, who is from Satara district in Maharashtra, speak to you? Are you in touch with the family as well?
No, I have got somebody locally to go and visit the family to reassure them that we are on top of it and we are trying our best to get it resolved. So I am local level engaging with the family all the time, and we are just very, very hopeful that we can resolve this. Sure, because let me tell you, we may have political differences, but I must put this on record that Jaishankar ji is most helpful and very, very empathetic when it comes to any student's issues. So my experience with the MEA has been extraordinary, and it's been very, very good. So I'm very grateful to the MEA. Whenever they've asked for help for kids for my constituency, an extra mile. So I appreciate the efforts of the MEA, and I'm sure even this time they will deliver superior results. My comment is limited only to it. Please don't read politics. I'm not making any political point here. This is completely human. Yeah.
Absolutely. This is a human concern. There is a student, Nilam Shinde, who is battling for her life in US. So certainly this is about passion. It's about empathy. And you have raised it, and rightly so, ma'am. My next concern would be what exactly is the status? Is it about an urgent visa or is it about a passport itself?
Yes. It's everything put together because it's a very simple family. And I don't think anybody, you don't want this to happen to your worst enemy, let me tell you. So I think what we need to get, the passport, the visa, everything, we are even in touch. We've even reached out to the American embassy in Mumbai and requesting them also to help. So we've asked the U.S. embassy in Mumbai, we've asked NEA to help, and I'm sure in the next day we'll find a solution. And we are doing everything in our power to push this agenda.
Yes, because it's really heartbreaking. To imagine that parents are not able to meet their ailing daughter, who is really not in the condition to perhaps even speak. So, it's really heartbreaking, ma'am.
It is. It's very, very painful. It's difficult, challenging. But we have to fight this, and we have to all go out and help this family. They need help more than anybody else needs it right now.
Absolutely.
And I'm committed to it. I'm totally committed to it.
Thank you so much, Supriya Sule, for taking this up, and thank you for speaking to NDTV.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, there is a massive debate which is going on as far as the delimitation exercise in the country is concerned, with the southern states especially worried about the impact that it would have on the states which have been able to control their population. And it seems now a clamor is growing in the southern states against this whole exercise, which is expected in 2026. Now, the Home Minister have come out and he has tried to allay fears. In fact, has even called Mr. M.K. Stalin of fear-mongering over delimitation. He has assured that not even one seat is going to be lost. But how will that come to is the big question. Let's just first understand what are the worried states saying, because Mr. Stalin, Mr. Siddaramaiah, all of them have been speaking about it. Mr. Stalin has said that this is a hanging, over southern states like a sword, the delimitation exercise. They also feel Lok Sabha seats will come down. In south, he estimates about 100 seats will come down. Mr. Siddaramaiah, the Karnataka Chief Minister, has also weighed in as far as this controversy is concerned, and he wants the southern states to unite. What has Mr. Siddaramaiah said? He has said south states should not be unfairly treated and the southern states should come together. There is a deliberate bid to undermine the southern states, because remember, there are a lot of political connotations as far as this entire exercise is concerned. The Home Minister has said that southern states will not lose seats and they are going to be allotted seats on the pro rata basis. But let's just first, break it down for you. What is the delimitation exercise that people are so worried about? What is it that this exercise means? So delimitation is the process of redrawing boundaries of parliamentary and assembly constituencies. Now, initially, the whole idea was that it should be carried out to reflect the changes in the population of the country, because the population of the country keeps changing, and conducted to ensure fair representation based on demographic shifts from one state to another. Delimitation must happen after every census was what the whole initial idea was. And who are the people? Because there is a delimitation panel which carries out this task, which is set up by the parliament. So who are the people in the delimitation panel? There is a Supreme Court judge in the delimitation panel. Apart from that, also a representative from the Election Commission of India. And along with the representative, there is one representative from every political party in the country. So that forms largely the delimitation panel. Let's just take a look. When all has delimitation taken place? In 1951, first delimitation exercise took place. The population of the country was 36.1 crore. Total Lok Sabha seats were 494. Come and shift to 1961, the population of the country grew to 43.9 crore. 522 were the Lok Sabha seats. So first three delimitation exercises happened simultaneously with the census. In 1971, 54.8 crore. The number of seats is 543. And since 1971 till 2024 Lok Sabha elections, the number of seats have been 543. Why? Because after 1971, the 42nd Constitutional Amendment froze the Parliamentary Assembly seats till 2001. When I speak about the 42nd Constitutional Amendment, I'm talking about 1976, when the emergency, in fact, was enacted. The freeze was so that the states with faster population growth could implement family planning measures, and then there could be fair equity as far as all states are concerned. In 2001, because the ban was till 2001, the exercise did take place, but the constituency boundaries were redrawn, but the number of seats in each state, whether it was the Lok Sabha or the Assembly, they remained the same because of the anxiety of the southern states at that point of time as well. The southern states had opposed this. Now, from there, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the worries. Because the southern states are extremely worried. Why are they so worried? The southern states worry that the delimitation based on the latest population data, because remember, the census was supposed to happen in 2021, it has not happened, will reduce the representation of the southern states because they have been able to control their population. It will diminish the political heft of the southern states. And apart from that, their worry also is that it is almost penalizing the southern states for effective population control. They feel that their growth economic has been great, population they have been able to reduce. They are unlike the northern states where the population is increasing, and hence they will lose the political heft.